Hello, I am Brandon, the humble host of Actual Play Broadcast. This will serve as an introduction to our broadcast for the time being. As we record and publish more, it shall change. We are still getting things set up, so apologies for any errors, skips, or silence that may occur. Everything will be smoothed out in due time. Please enjoy our broadcasts of various RPGs, and remember to tune in for more every week, as continuations or new adventures will be posted at such times. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Oh, yeah.
And we're recording.
Oh yeah, that's what I like to hear. Well, according
And
to
for
plan.
my next trick, I will get canceled.
Please don't.
That's not hard.
Reality is not.
Just literally breathe on Twitter. That's all you gotta do.
No, I'm just gonna support Fanta, and then people will connect the dots from there.
Also, that's right. I said Twitter. I'm not calling it a fucking letter.
Yeah, that's the
One
stupidest
can jump
shit
off a
ever.
building in game.
Wait, what's the Fanta thing though?
Oh, we're
What?
gonna have an off. We're gonna have an.
Oh, you don't know what
Okay.
Fanta exists?
I have an off the recording topic.
Yeah. Sidebar. Bring it up after the recording.
Okay.
We gotta get into this.
All I'm saying is it was created in the 40s.
All I'm saying is you should have been here on time, and we could have had this conversation before now.
We could have.
Okay. So, podcast announcements. More recordings are going up. Yeah.
Yay.
Also, last Aldfair session got borked because technology hates us. Nobody did anything wrong, just fucking audio files are just the best. So
Gotta love.
we're gonna have an extended recap to cover what happened from the last session that you did not get to hear. I guess we'll still number this one sequentially, although it'll technically be +1, because I think last session was number 7, I think, right?
I'm gonna tell you right now, like, even when I separate them into parts, I call it its next episode. So, like, I've scheduled part 3 and part 4, episode 3,
Okay.
which I divided into 2 parts. The first part is episode 3. The second part is episode 4. So,
Oh, see, man, I thought you were just gonna be like episode 3, part 2, or some shit like that. Okay, so my fucking. So you're telling me I have to give you 2 titles for every episode?
no,
It's
because
okay. It's just episode 3, part 2, chapter 11, endgame.
Oh god.
I am not Disney. Don't sue me.
You also need to watch the TV show, listen to the audio drama, and buy the novel to know really what's going on.
I'm not Blizzard. Don't sue me. No, I divide the episode in half. I call one half part 1.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's okay though. Having lost episodes adds mystique to the show, and we've got mystique for days.
Yeah, so much mystique. But anyways, so aside from that, that's all of our announcements. Because I can't really. These are recorded so far in advance. Other announcements for like upcoming things isn't really relevant because you'll probably see those recordings before you even get to the actual announcement for it. So, I guess we'll just go ahead and jump into the recap. Who wants to start? And by who, I'm saying Brandon, because I know he's taking extensive notes.
I feel typecasted.
I mean, you put yourself there, bud.
I mean, I didn't, but I did. But I didn't.
You can't complain about being typecast as a villain if all the roles you apply to are villain roles.
Looking at you, Tim Curry.
Wait, who's Tim
Curry's
Curry
a
typecast as?
Usually has a lunatic, but as the best kind of lunatic.
Okay, that's fair. There's so much variation. Like I don't really know what the common denominator is, other than just it's a Tim Curry character.
So we went and talked to the cult/clique. They are monks from the small woodland village of Starmark. They are very much in tune with nature, and we found out that by them being so in tune with how nature functions, they have inadvertently been giving their power to Gorath. But they don't know that they're giving their power to a god that wants to see the perpetual cycle that we're all stuck in perpetuated. They just know that there's another being that allows them to not turn on each other that they are connected to. So they're gonna keep doing that. And then
Can't
if
really
we,
blame them.
I can't blame them either. If they wanna, share that amongst the people, we have elected to not stop them. Because more people not killing each other when they transform into murderous werebats is a good thing.
Yeah.
Also, how would we even enforce that? It's like, no, you have to start. You can't not use technology. You gotta. You can't live in tune with nature. It's illegal.
Yeah.
I'm going to force a blender into the hands of every man, woman, and child if it's the last thing I do.
Yeah, we're gonna install light bulbs in their house while they're asleep.
That'd
We
be the
did-
weirdest fucking Santa.
One lesser house was infected. It was essentially just the couple. And then another house has one lone survivor with a son at the age of 17. Doesn't matter what they were before; they are now a lesser house.
Mm.
We convinced the Alchemist Guild and the Artificer Guild to work on a suppressant/cure with the promise of the Artificer Guild getting a workshop when the materials are made available. So they started doing political bullshit before the nobles actually did. So yay us.
I mean, honestly, it's light political bullshit, so I'll take what I can take.
At least it's somebody who's contributing.
Yeah.
True. The Shadow Devil revealed to by Shadow Devil I mean Zillion.
Yeah. Shadow
Reveal-
Archdevil.
Either way,
Respect on that name.
I will add Arch. Shadow Archdevil Caecilian spoke with Liana, and Liana spoke with us, saying that Gorath is an upset spaghetti because Hetyer cast them away and denied them the opportunity of followers. Makes a similar suggestion that we manipulate a what is essentially a deity. Those
Very good one.
those cursed owe their soul to Gorath, and death means he gains the power. Adopting the lifestyle empowers the god similarly. So, one way or another, every full moon, there is probably going to be a net power gain to this being. We completed our census to see who all lived and who all died. Lady Goldleaf has the census, and we have 9,354 accounted for that are still alive, of which 2,863 are uninfected. All remaining are infected or MIA. That means that we have 6,491 infected, and we have the best number of infection rate, 69%. Nice.
Mhm. Yeah.
The High Priestess has resigned themselves that Terminus is here and has kind of broken in spirit, as they are likely having a crisis of faith. Found out that the burrow that Gorath is in is only available during sundown, like specifically sundown, not after dusk. Or we haven't tested just about at sunrise. We haven't tested that, but who wants to get up that early?
Really early for that.
Yeah, who wants to get up that
It
early?
is an interstice between this plane and another. I am blanking on Nominar. Between this plane and Nominar, the realm of beasts. If I'm remembering everything correctly.
Yep.
Cool.
And reports have come in from Garrick that there is an abode not far from us. I don't know if we determined if it was in the hex or in one hex over.
It's roughly 3 days travel, so it's about 3 hexes away.
Gotcha. But with the use of a spyglass, we've been able to determine that there are potentially other inhabitants nearby. It looked like it was built into a hillside or a mountainside, right?
Yes. Yeah, a hillside to be specific.
To a hillside. That one I remembered. I didn't write down hillside. I just remembered the description.
Yeah, we're sending people there to keep an eye on it for now, at least.
I don't think we're sending anyone there. I think we're just having it. It's like, okay, well, it's over there, so just make sure nothing, charges out of it at us, please.
I mean, that sounds like sending people to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, people are keeping an eye at it from a distance. Nobody's approaching.
Yeah.
I just wanted to nail the particulars because
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah, they have spy glasses. Keeping a watch on it from a distance is doable.
Does anyone think I'm missing anything of importance?
We were sort of did a political meeting where we discussed how we want to go about controlling this werebatism. I don't remember if that was already mentioned. One of them was adopting the faith of this Goron. The other was this asceticism, and then finally, there's always the unsavory idea of just get rid of them. That the nobles particularly like.
Yep, the majority of them are not infected.
Just get rid of, 69% of the population. I'm sure.
Nice.
Sir Jaime Lannister. Nice.
We don't need the common folk. That's not how all of our wealth actually works. I don't know how my exploitation functions. I just pay people to manage that.
But yeah, there's been a lot of discussion on how to handle this whereabouts situation. As was said, the alchemist and artificer guilds are cooperating to find a solution. Hopefully they will find something. It's hard to say how quickly or how not quickly that solution will present itself.
If it even will.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of struggling to remember. Did you set them on the path to do the kind of like soul extraction repair?
We did have
soul
a discussion about it with the artificers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the path we set them on. And
yeah,
the deal was like, oh, sorry.
I was going to say, we didn't explicitly tell them this is the way we want it done, but we brought it up and said, figure it out.
Yeah, they're going to look into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if they get positive results toward, with solving this problem, we'll move their workshop up in the priority list.
I can't recall if the concept of that came up specifically in last session or if it was a session before. So in case it was only specifically in last session, as a refresher, there was once a drow artificer who attempted to make a machine where one could extract the soul from a body and do work on it and then put it back in, essentially. That drow artificer also happened to die in a fireball at the same time they were doing that experiment. So,
Yep.
It's hard to say how viable that is.
As far as I remember, I was just like, we want this solved with the least amount of death.
Yeah.
Yep. If that means controlling it, great. If that means a cure, great. If that means we have to sign fucking 9,000 people up for surgery and slowly cut apart their souls, well, that's fucking terrifying.
Everybody get in line for soldiery. No, that just turned into another word. Never mind, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't surgery just controlled stabbing anyway?
Mostly cutting and stab. Although it's the sewing at the end that's the very important part.
Yeah.
You gotta reassemble.
Stabbing.
That's true, that part is stabbing.
All right.
Another thing that's been going on is that Tilk has been doing sermons not at the exact same time as the high priestess, but as the high priestess is preaching, like, not exactly Terminus is here, but is more like leaning. It's just like, yep, there's what you got for now. You're not gonna have it here soon.
Yeah, I guess that's an important thing to note is there is a notable shift in faith going on right now. There are some specifically going to the high priestess's sermons, which are very Terminus focused.
Mm-hmm.
There is also a notable population going to Tilks, which is more, I hesitate to say fundamentalist. Probably traditional would be the proper way to put it.
Yeah.
A lot more conservative.
There have been a few people trickling in, joining this nature monk cult thing going on. Not really sure what the gauge on that is, but it's being watched by one of Erstyle's agents, as are the other groups.
The most concerning influence grown is people are joining the cult of the bone.
Yes, the followers of the bone have actually attracted a few additional followers now, which is something people from Aldfair know to be wary of.
Look, when the people you normally turn to are starting to say everyone's going to die, it makes sense to follow the god of death.
Yeah.
Great. Googly moogly. Everything's going to shit, Kupo.
But also it makes sense that, like, right after a mass tragedy like this, some people are going to be a little incensed and do that kind of following as well.
Absolutely. So, without further ado, let's kind of get in. We left off on the 23rd of Legerbeer. We're a few days away from Hearthfest, where all of this started a year ago.
Yeah. So what's the over under of Nordic assholes teleporting in and crashing our party again?
Technically not 0.
Yeah, man. It already happened once at least.
I'd like to state I'm not rolling on any random tables today.
What, did you do a test roll and it went bad?
I mean, I was working on something else when I was doing test rolls, and it was just the same result 3 times in a row. I was just like, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking like it was a D100.
Well, you may not have a choice.
It was a D100. I rolled a 13 3 times.
Oh, when I ask for percentiles, generally low is good, unless I have you decide you want a higher or low result.
All I'm saying is now I want Brandon to roll.
Are we not?
No.
That said, we're on the 23rd of Legerbeer. Things have been set in motion. Scouting has resumed. Construction has resumed. Obviously, some of the fervor has been knocked out of it a little bit, but work is resuming. There's an uncertainty going on. Plans have been put in motion to celebrate Hearthfest, to do something to get people's spirits back up a bit. For points of housekeeping for characters, Erstyle, I have names for you.
Oh no. Oh no.
I do. Yeah. Jesus Christ, it's like my brain stops functioning sometimes when I look at my notes server. I'm like trying to find the channel that has the right notes and my brain just malfunctions. So you have 5 agents at the time. They're still working on finding decent recruits. But at the moment, you have Leona's dad, aka Keegan, who is level 6. You also have Dak, who is and I can copy paste these for you if you want.
Okay, that wouldn't be nice.
There's Dak, who is a half-elf male, who's level 3. There is Sarani, who is a human female, level 4. There's Lexi, also a human female, level 3. And Ryle, who is an elf male, level 3. So you essentially have a level 6, a level 4, and 3 level 3s that are operating underneath you at the moment. But here's the full list of names. Gender.
Man, I was off.
Race.
On Keegan and Jack. By one letter.
Yeah, also, Leon, your dad's name is Keegan. So now you know.
That's good to know.
Yeah, your dad
And
definitely
yes, your dad.
beat up a lot of
Yeah, your dad can beat up a lot of dads.
Yes.
Also, there was question on some
All of my
noble house
living
names.
relatives are very powerful.
Yes, because I'm
Yes.
interested in getting contact with some of these noble houses.
Yeah, the 2 infected houses that you had drawn some interest into, investigating those that were infected. The minor house that has the sole survivor is House Malir. It's a minor house. The lone survivor is Marlowe. He's a human, male, 17, infected. Your agents are gathering info for now. But you know these basics at the time. Then the other infected minor house is House Vorkin with Jakar and Min, both human. They seem to be cousins.
I thought they said they were a couple last time.
I did not stutter.
Okay.
Not mutually exclusive among nobility.
I did not say which degree of cousins they were either.
I guess that's
just
fair.
that you've heard they're cousins. They're both infected.
I assume first cousins because, weak chins and whatnot.
Keeping it in the family.
Hey, if you can't keep it in your pants.
Look, there's a reason they're a minor house, okay?
Goddamn.
I'm going to stop sign that joke. I want Brandon or audio.
Audio jungle.
So things have been put into motion. Your scouts are keeping an eye on that structure out there. They're not approaching it. They're keeping a healthy distance, taking advantage of those barred spyglasses. You do keep a watch on where the confluence is, or the conjunction, I should say, not a confluence. However, after the 24th, or the evening of the 24th, the clerics that were posted there were attacked by wild animals. And so it is decided to rotate out for more mundane guards. Sir Highhand explains that the clerics felt unwelcome at the location for reasons beyond explanation.
Yep, totally beyond explanation.
Yep.
I guess.
Yeah. The official report essentially stated that the animals that came after them were they did not seem like hungry animals hoping for easy prey. It seemed very targeted and chased them for a significant distance. And despite killing a couple of them. Which it should be noted, it was a large group of dire lions.
Oh,
no.
Joy.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
boy.
a pride of them?
Luckily nobody died. That's what your assumption would be. Nobody died, luckily, but they're like, something doesn't want us there. We're not going back out there. So there are some guards that are posted out there to keep watch. Over these next couple days, the conjunction, it is figured that the conjunction opens for the duration of sunset. And then closes and does not open again until the next sunset.
Interesting.
Why that is? Who knows? Conjunctions are weird. But
so
that's how it works.
If you want to go, you got to be nocturnal.
The progress on Hearthfest is coming along fine. The traditional foods aren't really going to be available outside of some stores of what you brought with, which is, from what's left, mostly potatoes. And some seasonings and such. So it seems like Hearthfest this year is going to be predominantly fish-based. However, there are some not really surviving culinarian guild folks, but there are people who are somewhat decent at cooking who have been put to work to try to come up with dishes using some of the local edible plant life that has been discovered around. So hopefully it will be more than just fish with potatoes for food. But we'll see when Hearthfest arrives. For Earthstyle's agents, let's make some rolls to see how they do in their efforts to influence the populace to favor Tilk's sermons over the High Priestess's sermons, and to hopefully, generally sway at least people from doom and gloom, at the very least.
I believe in you.
Also, remember I had 3 agents who were doing that.
Yes, which is why I'm going to effectively roll 3 sets of D100 a couple times. Okay. Interesting.
Damn near down the middle.
Yeah. Immediate results are not super clear. There has been a little bit of an uptick in attendance to Tilk's sermons. At the very least, the High Priestess's sermons have not been growing in size. Granted, this is the effects over the course of a couple days. Long term, it's still too early to say, but at the moment, Tilk sermons are growing, the High Priestesses are stable. Also keeping tabs on the nature monks and the followers of the bone. No massive changes. They have a couple new members, but everything seems business as usual for them. So, are there any other side activities anybody wants to do in the days leading up to Hearthfest, or do we want to jump into Hearthfest?
Yeah, I'd like to approach Liana one almost evening. Hey, do you have a moment? Or I guess sometime?
Yeah, plenty tonight. Do you need something?
I was thinking of going to go check out that hill. Not the one with the house, but the one that we found the beast in.
The one with the
Rough.
conjunction.
Yeah, the conjunction.
All right. I wouldn't mind taking another look.
Yeah, I don't want to like make it a whole thing, but I don't want to just go there alone, something bad happen, or get attacked by like an animal or something, and then I just disappeared for no reason.
Yeah. In that case, we should still be careful. Is there anyone else? Well, we should probably bring more people, but I wouldn't mind
telling the rest of the group, but I don't want to bring Tilk or Rhea in case them being infected is compromising to them somehow.
You're worried Gorath can influence them in some way?
It would stand to reason. If Gorath is who the ascetics are unwittingly worshipping, and he is therefore influencing their behavior while they're transformed, and he draws power from them being transformed, it would stand to reason that he would have a way of more directly influencing them should he need.
Maybe. What are you wanting to do there?
I'm just going to try to get some more answers. I might try to talk to Gorath and maybe we can get a modicum of control. If he's gonna benefit off of us anyway, it would probably do him well that we continue to exist. Is my thought.
Maybe.
I'm gonna try to be a diplomat.
I never want to talk to him before, so I suppose it's worth a try.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I neglected to go with the others when they decided to check out that port. So yeah, I suppose it now is as good a time as any to get my own curiosity sated and possibly improve our situation.
Fair enough. Let me know when you want to set out.
Well, it opens at evening, and I
Yeah.
suppose if all goes well, we don't want to be out too late, unless our sleep be compromised. I don't want to be a zombie tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is that a bad joke now?
I don't know. Nothing like this has ever happened before in my memory, so I don't know what's considered too soon.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we'll need to be careful though, given that some people have been attacked out there now.
Yeah.
So, are you all keeping this between you two, or did you want to tell everybody else?
I mean, I'm gonna tell everybody else at the very least.
Yeah, I'm down for telling everybody else. I just don't want to bring the whole group.
Cool. It's not terribly hard, especially this late in the day. You all typically handle things in the morning, so generally at this time of day, everybody's kind of winding down. So it's not too hard to pull everybody together to have this conversation. So like usual, you all are gathered at the beach, although it is not a council meeting unless you all want it to be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it is just the five of you and presumably Caius, who went and fetched everybody else so you all could talk. But he will back off so you all can talk in private.
Yeah, okay. Is Caius infected, by the way? I realized I never asked.
He is not. As you recall, he made a comment to you that he very likely cannot be.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I'm sure it's fine.
But yeah, so you all are gathered on the beach.
Well, you're the diplomat. If you want to tell the others. Also, it's your plan anyway, so I'm just going so that no one's alone.
Yeah. So everyone, I guess I'll make this short and sweet since people probably want to get to sleep, or have their evenings. I was planning on going to the conjunction. While it's open, it may do to give it a little more exploration and possibly have some words with Goroth, if possible. I figure if I'm gonna be the diplomat, I might be able to make an argument for him to ease up on the "we all murder each other" thing.
You were trying to say something, Ollie?
Oh, it was just Erstyle making the comment of that'll be entertaining.
Okay.
Yeah. For better or worse, Tilk, Rhea, I think you two should stay here. I kind of don't want to. I don't want to bring everybody to it lest something goes south and then we just immediately offed half the leadership of our new little civilization. And I'm particularly worried that since you two are infected, if something goes south and I can make it out, that he may be able to influence you in negative ways.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, well, we've already been there once, and he didn't seem very interested in controlling us then. Yes, because
Yeah,
he doesn't need to.
Yes, but I don't want to risk that something changes.
True.
if I have words with him and I piss him off, heavens forbid, then that could quickly become a problem if I'm not just trying to survive a godlike being, but also my friends coming after me.
Yeah. I have been wanting to study the injustice in general and just figuring but
Yeah, I
if you
just think
me being there is a liability, then
I just don't want to risk it on top of like going in. We can go for another like exploration that isn't talking to him together. I just while I'm talking to him, I don't want to have the infected around. Like it's nothing against you guys. I trust you, but this is powers beyond our ken.
Well, if we do learn anything new about the conjunction, you'll be the first to know when we get back, at the very least.
And if we don't, you'll be the first to know.
May I hear the not necessarily the argument you to make?
Well, so admittedly, I'm not. This is my first time as a diplomat, so I'm not exactly super experienced. But the way I've been thinking about it since you guys originally made the report, if he gets power from us, whether we follow his teachings or we die, and there is a biological difference between those that infected us with their organs that they have that we don't, and us. It stands to reason that as they continue, this werebat continues to exist and pass on its lineage, that it changes and gets more advanced. Assuming that he's still connected to them like he was to us, it would do him more to have more of us alive. And we can't do that if we are actively killing each other. So
Yeah,
my
he hasn't
hope
exactly
is
been the
that
best hostage taker so far.
yeah, my hope is that without giving up or like having to dedicate to any cause particularly, we might be able to at least get some leniency in how disastrous this affair has been.
He did kind of go like the living or dead. We serve him, so
Yeah, but that's my point. Is if there's more of us alive, living or dead, he has more who are technically serving him.
Would you mind if I gave you some pointers on like how to present that potentially?
Sure.
I would like to give an assist roll for a diplomacy check. That will may or may not happen in the future.
Yeah, go for it.
Sure.
Well, you see, when you say the thing, you want to say it like this, with the following posture.
Yeah.
That's my thought. That's what I was kind of going for.
Speak from the chest.
21.
Oh, there you go. So you will have the advantages of assistance should you need to make a diplomacy roll.
Which I think is just +2, if I recall.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll just note that
It's
down.
only a +2 if you get assistance.
Okay.
Yeah.
+2.
There is something to be said about, well, I suppose I don't know this for sure, whether he gets a quick burst of power when one of the werebats dies, or if their soul being his gives him consistent power. But if it's the former, then his net total power over time would be greater with people still alive.
Yeah, my thought is if every one of us is his follower, intentionally or not, by being werebats, it helps him to have more followers. And if it can be passed down like or from parent to child, well, dead people can't have kids.
That's true.
That's sort of what I'm operating on right now. I appreciate the pointer, Stilk.
Not a problem. I am currently working on my own plans at the moment, but hopefully the pointers will serve you well in your stead as a diplomat.
I mean, they can't hurt, right?
Hopefully not. He may take insult to one of the things because we don't understand his culture because he doesn't technically have one.
I suppose the lack of followers means that he doesn't really. I mean, if he's just.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, most deities have their followers voluntarily.
Yeah,
It'd be really nice if he went that route too, but no.
Well,
You have to have nice
sounds
things. We're
like
just mortals.
his nature is a little different from those that we typically decide to follow. Anyway, would you like anyone to come with us? I was just thinking me and Liana, and I was just gonna have her like sit outside the conjunction while I go in. Doing,
Oh, you're going in there?
well, I got to if I'm gonna talk to him, right?
Oh, I guess.
Going in there alone?
I don't. One or two of us doesn't make a whole lot of difference.
I wasn't there for the original conversation. Did anyone have to go in there to talk to him, or were you able to talk
Yes.
from the threshold?
We went in there.
We crossed the threshold.
Yeah.
So that could be
I
fun
assume
for you.
afterwards that it was a threshold.
I would like to bring it.
Oh, go on.
In that case, I would like to bring at least 2 more people so that neither of us is alone in what could be a fairly dangerous situation.
Okay.
I mean, I could remain outside. If
Again, I don't wanna have you guys come with and you be used as pawns. Because I doubt even being outside the conjunction will stop him from being able to influence you.
Well, I don't know. Usually, come to think of it, as influence, I assume, is just during the full moon when everyone transforms and loses themselves. But I mean, if he could exert that influence over the infected more often, I assume he would. I mean, proximity might also make him stronger, though. So I don't know.
Yeah, my assumption is that's when his power reaches like a max.
well,
It's because
it
like
seemed
full
like he has
moon,
the-
wolves, and coyotes and stuff, and like it seems like a beast god would have that kind of thing going on. And it may be that he can influence people outside of that, but it's not as worth it to him.
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay, so who's going? Obviously, Sveta and Liana. Does Ursula want to
Yeah.
Um, Erkal could follow along. Sure. Ursula was
Okay.
also part of the first group that was there, so
Yeah.
But you're not infected. Not a liability.
Do you want to find a fourth aside from the infected? Caius isn't aware of the conversation, but technically, if you ask him to go along, he's probably not going to say no.
Yeah, Caius might actually be a really good bet. If we can, I don't know, borrow him your lordliness.
Feel free to. If he's willing to help out on that, the more hands the better, and the less of them that are infected, the better.
Yeah.
So, Caius is willing to go. He's not sure about entering the conjunction himself, but if you want him to go inside, he will. But the four of you head out, and you've done the walk before. It's not terribly far. It is just a couple miles. It does take a little bit. But you get out there. There are some guards on standby with some bows and short swords. And they seem a little surprised to see you all, but they don't question it. And when the sun begins to set, you seem to blink, and suddenly it's there. A large enough hole to enter, but you have to kind of crouch down to walk into it.
Well, there it is. Do you think having Caius, do you think being in there is gonna be adversarial?
Quite frankly, I don't know. Typically, in my experience, most religious folks don't take to my patron, shall I say, too well. And I don't know the full scoop on this Agorath. I don't know how well, if he is a god, I don't know how he'll feel about the Forgotten One. Although, from what was mentioned about this Red Raven, he seems to be aware of my patron. His feelings on that, though, hard to say.
I wouldn't be surprised if your presence in there would come across as an attempt on our part at a show of power. And if that is the case, that may or may not be a good thing for us. I guess it's kind of hard to say. I don't think we know Korath well enough to determine that.
Yeah, and I can't say with any certainty, so it's up to you all. I can stay out here and just be on guard, or I can go in. It makes no difference to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to go in proverbially trying to like throw my weight around. This is more getting more knowledge than anything. So I guess you'll be on outside crew, Caius?
Enough.
I guess Erstyle, Liana, which of you would like to come in with me? I know you might be curious, Liana, but there's also merit to you being out here doing magical investigation on its own. So I don't think that we're going to really miss out either way.
It is bigger on the inside. Where is that?
I would like to examine the conjunction itself, if possible.
Yeah, I think we can do some examination here before any of us go in.
Yeah, you have time. So long as the sun is setting, it's open. So you have effectively an hour before it closes again.
So maybe like spend 15-20 minutes doing that. I don't want to like spend too much time because I don't want to get in there and then get stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, how do you want to investigate it? Because looking at it, that's a hole.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna start with our good old friend detect magic because I like blinding myself.
Yeah. So, are you also going to detect magic, Leona?
Not right now. I mean, we already did that, so.
Okay. So, Sveta, you fire up detect magic. The moment that extra sight comes on, it is like blinding.
Yep. That's bright.
Immediately hurl up your lunch.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I was expecting. That was probably it.
So did that taste as good the second time?
Ha 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 ha. I'm
Wow.
just prepping because I like eating after a good diplomatic meeting, and I need room, I guess.
Ah, that's fair.
Okay. Well, that is definitely more active than it was last time.
Yeah.
Oof.
Something I'm curious about. I think I remember the others describing the kind of feel of the environment changing at some point in there. And I wanted to see if that was, well, I don't really know if there's any way to determine this, but I'm curious if the entire tunnel that makes up the conjunction, cavern, cave system, is all in Nominar, or if some of it is in our world as well, in Ios. And kind of just honestly pretty mundanely examining, like, just trying to figure out the basics of like how exactly does a conjunction work. I theorize that it's a location where the two planes simply overlap metaphysically, but maybe that's not the case.
My thought is like two pieces of paper touching. Like this is just where they touch.
Yeah.
There are a lot of theories. There's not one confirmed understanding of absolute functionality.
Yeah. Not a lot of people have had the opportunity to study one up close, though.
Yes. It is rare to stumble upon a conjunction, but it is even rarer to find one that is stable and consistent.
Yeah, which this one has been so far as we can tell. Yeah, I'd like to at least go into it a small distance and see, like, all right, at what point does the atmosphere change noticeably, if at all? Is there like a particular place within where there's a major shift in environment or anything like that?
Give me both a knowledge arcana and a perception check.
Oh, okay. I'll roll them in that order. So arcana first.
Actually, better yet. Instead of that,
knowledge planes is the same bonus.
Could you instead use your perception skill, but add your casting modifier?
Okay. Instead of my wisdom or in addition to it?
Instead of your wisdom.
Okay. So perception. Like +7.
Breaking the rules a little bit here, but it's fine.
Whoa. Okay, so basically +3. Which turns it into +10. Okay.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wisdom is 12, and then my intelligence is 18 right now.
27.
So I'm gonna search that because
by all means,
there's no kill like overkill.
Yeah.
All right, 33.
Cool.
Nice.
So you hunker down because you got it. You, regardless how short you are, it is just low enough that you cannot stand straight up in this tunnel.
Yeah.
So you hunker down and make your way inside. And as you're entering, you do feel this general air, just even at the mouth of it, that something is off. Something isn't quite right. And the further in you go, the more that feeling kind of rises. And then there is a point where you feel where the light from outside isn't like entirely gone or pinpoint or anything, but it's a good ways away. You think you're probably around 30 or 40 feet down in the hole.
Yeah.
Where you feel a definitive shift in the air. Like you don't feel any breeze from behind you. Everything feels eerily still. And there is almost this instinctual sense of danger kind of creeping in the back of your mind.
Like the I'm being watched by a predatory animal kind of thing.
Less that it's you're being watched and more at a very base animal level, you feel this is a dangerous place.
Oh, okay. When I find that spot, I'll stop and examine how I feel, and then I will step back across that line, that threshold, for lack of a better term, to see if I can determine exactly where that major shift is. Is it?
It is. It's hard to identify. There's not a specific point where it suddenly shifts to that. It is just this awareness that ebbs and flows. When you move away, it kind of goes away bit by bit. But as you move in, it's kind of rising in you again. It's a gradual shift.
I wonder if the two planes themselves, rather than there being a definite seam in between, and I'm kind of musing out loud as I walk around into this, rather than there being a definite seam in between them, maybe they blend together here in this space. I wonder if this cave is here on the Nominar side when the conjunction is closed.
What did you say?
Oh, I'm like musing out loud in character if anyone's listening.
I mean, hard to tell, or hard to say at all, really. Yeah. If we were more advanced casters, I might check that out, but I'm not sure we have a way to measure that at this moment.
No, I'm just curious.
No, I understand you.
I can't plane shift yet, so I'm not going to risk being stuck here.
Yeah.
I'll
Want me
not go
to
that
follow
far.
you in and we'll go to the other side, or?
Well, I mean, am I going with you to talk, or
Yeah, it's up to
you
you.
want someone in particular?
Yeah, I'm not picky.
Well, Caius didn't seem comfortable about coming in here. How do you feel, Airstyle?
It'll be interesting to see what goes on if I'm in there a second time.
Alright, well, if you want to, I can wait outside.
Okay.
There's also nothing stopping all three of you going in if you really want to.
Yeah, I mean, my reason for bringing 4 people along was so that we had a pair of people in each spot. I forgot the guards were out there, like, that close to it, so...
Yeah, and also,
Yeah, they're not on top of it, but they are close enough to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
And in fairness, Caius can very much probably handle himself if something happened.
I mean, probably.
Yes, that is also very true.
Yeah.
Assuming it's not literally a god coming down and, like, you know, ripping him in half. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in that case, the god would, if it's this one, would have to go, like, through the tunnels, so we would probably see it first.
Yeah.
Alright, sure.
It's up to you all.
I suppose all 3 of us can go, and it won't be as much of a problem as I thought it would be. Just make sure everybody up there knows what's going on, or I can go back and talk.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's head back out and reconvene, and then we'll go back in.
Yeah.
Okay. So you come back up. You let Caius know. He's like, okay, cool, whatever. I'll sit tight, don't die.
Caius is
No
very
promises.
nonchalant about this, given that he has classically been very, if you get you killed, I will kill you.
He's, you know, y'all don't know his backstory, so.
True. We should ask him at some point.
Yeah. So the 3 of you go ahead and make your way into the tunnel and do that long, awkward crouch walk down it. It progresses about 100-ish feet before it opens up in, at least to our style, the familiar, but to you two, the unfamiliar, massive cavern. As you enter, there are bits of bones scattered about this barren cave floor. It is pitch black. For those of you that have dark vision, the darkness of the cavern extends beyond your dark vision.
Yeah, big cap.
So this cavern is massive.
As a note, I'm leaving Harrison with Caius.
Fair.
He is not going with me.
Very fair. Harrison probably not like it here.
Yeah. Given that we are going with the first beast, I don't want him to think that my rabbit is a snack.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something, Ollie?
Yeah, just we're back in the cave. Erstyle just wants to roll to see if he can listen for the first predator again.
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
I just looked at it, but I forgot what my perception bonus was. Maybe a fun night.
With ears wide open. 26.
Yeah.
Nice.
26.
You want to search?
Yep. I don't feel like searching.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so you all are coming down. You come into this cavern. The darkness is expanding beyond. You can't see the ceiling. You can't see the far side. There is a lingering odor of rot in carrion. Our style, you do pick up the subtle sounds of motion, kind of. This, now that you've heard it before and you're listening for it, you can recognize it as fur brushing against stone. And at the edge of your perception, you all can see like the end of a sort of wolf/dog-like muzzle with big fuck-off teeth. And a pair of luminous white eyes glowering in the darkness, but you can't see its full head as it lingers there in the dark. And there is a loud inhale as it takes in the scent of you all. I sense you.
Hello.
You see the end of this muzzle come towards you, and it comes about like within 10 feet of you, and the scale of it is a little bit frightening. You don't have dark vision, do you? Because you're human. Yeah. So you don't really see it per se. Your eyes are kind of adjusting to the darkness, but you're only seeing the vaguest of outline, and it's to that point where you're not sure if you're imagining it because of what you're hearing, and so your mind is filling in the blanks, or if your eyes are adjusting enough to actually see the outline of this thing. But you very much can hear and feel like its breath, and every time it exhales, there is a very hefty, hot waft of carrion breath that makes like your nose hairs curl. Yeah, it is foul. And it smells you in particular. Curious. Or shit, I went too deep there. Curious.
Hello. Mr. Goroth. I know it might be a bit presumptuous, but we come in peace and mean you no harm?
That is that so.
Very much. I just wanted to meet the one that everyone has been talking so much about.
What do they say?
They speak of how great you are.
Make a
How
deception
broad you are.
check.
Side eye from Earth style.
I mean great as like not he's a good person, but like fucking awe-inspired. I was about to be like how much awe you've inspired.
I'm gonna say it's still a deception check because that has not been the vibe. The idea of this thing has not been invoking awe.
This thing
It has been a matter of concern.
Do you mean diplomas or bluff? Fuck.
Yes,
Bluff,
Kill
bluff is
myself.
deception.
I play too many and run too many systems to keep full track of the name of the
Good.
same skill across things.
You good. I have no bonuses.
This thing did not pass the vibe check.
I'm just kissing ass, okay?
Yeah. I respect
Sure.
it. When you're talking to a god, you brown nose a little bit.
So that's a 22.
There is a very throaty rumbling sound. You're not really sure what it's an indication of.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
He doesn't call you out on this deception though.
Yay.
Are you here to pay tribute?
No.
Hearing Earth style, he does kind of shift, and there is that sniffing again. You came back. Where are the other two?
They're busy. And these two were curious on actually taking a look and seeing what you're about. That's not really a lie.
There's another rumbling sound and a shift, and Liana, you are now on the receiving end of this sniffing and like waves of hot breath. Another familiar scent. Long has it been, shadow thing?
Well, not quite the same one this time, but a descendant thereof. I came here since, well, similarly, we hadn't met, and I wanted to learn more about you and about how our respective planes connect to each other.
There's actually an almost kind of unnerving pause of silence. It kind of peels back a little bit as the eyes raise in the darkness to the edges of, for those of you that have dark vision, but also for the human, you don't have dark vision, you can see the eyes. Just two white luminous orbs in the darkness here. And that awkward pause lasts for, well, beyond comfort.
Yeah.
Then ask.
Well, let's see. Talking isn't my strong suit, but I suppose I want to know what your goals are and values. What is it that you care about exactly? And why are you? And what do we have to do with that?
You must die. The cycle must continue.
Well, as far as any of us can tell, it seems to be continuing on its own.
We all have a part to play. I will not rest on my haunches and wait for someone else to do it for me. I will destroy him at all costs.
Given what you've been through, I think I can understand. But what part?
And you?
Well, maybe not completely, but due to a lack of experience. But what part do we play? Especially those of us who have been changed. I understand they have a connection to you now in some form. I'm not sure if that transformation originates from you or what.
There is a claw that's about the same size of you that comes from a paw that comes into your field of view, and it stops between you and Sveta and tugs, and you see this silvery thread appear connecting between the two of you and extending to Earth style.
Like tugging on the thread from the center.
Yes. As I told the other two, I will tell you, fate has deemed you a role, as we all have. It is a rare thing for fated mortals to come into one's possession, especially mine. If it is my say, then I will levy you against the Godfather. Let him die and rot. Let the crows and the ravens have him.
So what of our part then? If fate has something in particular in store for us, is that something we should be kept from?
Fate is a capricious beast, shifting and changing. It is undeniable you have a role to play. What it will look like will change as the rivers of time pass us. I would see your fates levied against this Godfather and see him fall. If not at my hands, then yours.
Why would we have a better chance than you, though?
As I told the others, the Red Raven always wins.
How so? What does the Red Raven get out of this?
I do not know. It simply is. Why does the sun rise? Why do seeds grow? Why do the plains reset time and time again? Why must life extinct and rise again? It simply is, and always will be.
I see.
I think I, at least to some degree, understand. Is an everlasting cycle. There's not a particular reason for it, it just must be.
Yes. Without cycles, it would all be madness. True chaos. But we have order. A natural process that should not be resisted, which is why he must die. Old fool.
Is Hetio doing something to resist it?
Of course. He kicks and screams, connives and schemes. He will die all the same, mad and afraid.
Let's see. We did want to ask about, well, I'm not sure if it's a form of lycanthropy. Forgive us if we're wrong about that, but the changes that some of our people undergo, is there anything you would be willing to tell us about it?
It is my gift and my curse upon the mortal world. Hetye would deny me, and so in turn I deny him. If he will not let me be, as is my right, then I will take. And so I have taken. Woe be upon him, though. Not even he could foresee the chance, the opportunity, the seeming randomness that those I had already taken found their way to you.
I was curious about that as well. It seemed that their version of the condition was somewhat different from ours, though.
It is a natural thing, a process. The gift channels through the person and passes as any, well, natural thing might. From child to parent. But conversely, parent to conceived.
So those who are born with it have a greater measure of control.
Control is a relative thing.
Whether they... It didn't seem like they fully kept their personalities, but they were able to follow through on goals that they had.
Yeah.
Which is
And
more
they
than can be
used-
said about most of our people.
Not to mention they used tools and seemed to coordinate to some degree.
They were resigned to their fate. They knew what they carried in them, and they were born as such. And being outcast, they were resigned to owing their survival to my gift. If you bear ill will to them, perhaps you may find comfort that their souls fill my belly.
A little bit. But to be honest, it doesn't fill us with a lot of comfort that some of our friends' souls would fill anyone's belly later on.
And what choice do I have in that, mortal? What do you know of my suffering? There are things I must do to see to it I get what I want. And not everybody, not everything, not every creature gets what it wants. It is eat or be eaten.
So you gain power from whether they live or die, bearing this blessing of yours.
Yes.
Would it not stand to reason that if you may ease their madness in the throes of the full moon, that they may then bear more tied to you?
I cannot decide for them if they pay tribute or not. If they choose to resist and kick and scream like their forsaken godfather, then they'll suffer for it. Damnation on him. Damnation on any who pay tribute to him.
So those four, the ones who introduced us to the blessing, they paid tribute to you?
In little ways, yes.
They seemed very different from even those that pay tribute to you in our camps.
Yes, they did suffer for it. They
And-
were perturbed by my blessing.
Yes, they spoke to us very deeply about their faith in their celestial dragons.
There is this very like throaty, deep, bassy. It almost sounds like a scoff.
Mm-hmm.
The lizards are obnoxious. I will not deny those mortals their faith, but well, they are dead. It matters not.
Wait, not the dragons, but their followers.
Yeah, he's referring to the four mortals.
Okay, just making sure I didn't hear like, oh, by the way, the celestial dragons are actually dead. So that would have been a hell of a fucking note drop.
Yeah, that is not what he was saying.
Yeah. I understand it may be a lot to ask, but I'm sure in your infinite wisdom you may be able to see that we need time to adopt or adjust to anything, and the more that our people fight without knowing why or what they're fighting, the less followers you have to bolster your power with. I ask that if you can find it in yourself, we may be given a small parlay. Or we may find
Go ahead and give me that
easier or-
diplomacy roll.
Yep, there we go.
Yep.
Remember, I assisted.
All right, baby. Yeah,
Yes,
yep,
you got
yep.
the +2 from assist.
And I am mythic surging it.
I would hope so.
Please don't fuck me, dice. I would be I might cry. Woohoo,
Oh.
29.
That's pretty good.
Okay. There is another long pause. Awkwardly long.
Savannah
You
inside,
can
fuck,
hear.
I pissed him off.
You can hear what you think is like a tongue over teeth. It's a very wet sound. But when that pause draws to an end, he sort of leans back in. And why should I parlay with those who would throw themselves hands on knees at shrines of the one I hate? What kindness should be afforded such creatures?
Because such creatures will find it much harder to transition or make any decision to the opposite if they are only met with harsh sorry, my like out of character brain not Englishing.
Do they think he gives them love and comfort?
No, that is faith. They hope so. And so far, they've not been shown anything outright to the opposite. If you push them with despair and violence, they'll only run farther into Petir's arms. We're only just now learning that our gods can be dim or bright based on location. We have a great much to ponder and learn, and we can't do that if we slaughter ourselves wholesale in our
Location. Location is a fraction of it, regardless. Why should I show warmth to a thing that works in the name of what treats me as enemy? If they will continue to worship him, there can be no warmth. They are the enemy, and so I turn them against him as tools rather than allies.
Oh.
Is that so hard to understand?
They may be more likely to become long-term allies of yourself if they find that you treat them better than another god does.
And we are running frightened from tools of an enemy. Many of us will only sink into what we know if we're treated with disdain for what we were.
Faith is not something so easily traded. I am not stupid. Do not make the mistake he made in your estimation of me, mortal.
No, I temper any estimation. I can see right now how powerful you are. I feel it. But
All right, I have to ask: are you fucking lying?
no, like she's
Okay.
talking to a god. Like,
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
yeah, no.
Like, because like if you're blowing smoke up his ass, I'm gonna have to ask you to roll.
Yeah, no, she's choosing her words carefully, mainly because she doesn't want to piss him off by accident, but like she's being honest.
Okay.
Our society is not able to, our people are not able to change faith or adjust so quickly. If there's to be any chance that we could be allies, we need time to find that out. And I'm sure you would be able to know if that became unattainable. All we ask is for a short period to discover and understand and make our decisions. If we turn out to continue to not be in your interest, then you can so easily remove any warmth. But if you show it to us now, it makes it much more likely that we will find solace in it.
I'm gonna need another diplomacy check.
Cool. No, I don't get a bonus on this one.
Nope.
I'm trying my heart out, guys.
It's fine. Doing fine.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a god. It's going to be challenging. You're not going to win him over with one diplomacy check.
Yeah.
No, I totally get it.
Yeah,
God, what a teeny tiny grudge.
All right,
Yeah, just a little.
a little bit.
I have 2 more mythic surges left.
21.
There's another pause of consideration.
Oh no, I have 3. Okay, cool. No, 2. Yeah.
I cannot loosen my grasp unless you throw down your idols to the Godfather. If the Godmother gives you comfort, then I will endure it. But the idols to him must be thrown down and forsaken. You must not offer your words or your faith to him. Then I will consider your pleas for warmth.
She just stares for a few moments, like a slow nod, as she's trying to consider if there are even words she can give back or what her next steps might need to be.
Sure. While Damiani thinks, do the other 2 want to say anything?
I do. Ursel does, actually.
Yep.
Has the cycle been prolonged with its current iteration?
You can feel his attention shift. There's that wave of hot air again.
What gives you that idea, little woodling?
Your continuation of the use of the cycle must continue.
Perceptive. Yes. The cycle was called to end once before. and it was resisted.
Hmm.
When was that?
Long ago from now. And we all will pay the price for it. Hetier most of all. As I said, the Red Raven always gets his victory.
Were there particular events on our side of things that would line up with the cycle attempting to end? There was a war against a powerful dragon warlord some time ago. That has me wondering, but I suppose it could have been anything.
I do not know this war you speak of. There was a time before I was sequestered to this minuscule realm. A time when man and God shared the same paths and the same harvest and the same sun.
Oh,
But
this was a lot.
such a place was robbed because of hubris. And now he will pay the price.
So this was far longer ago than I expected.
Yes. But he will get what is coming. We all will.
Style picks out his notepad and writes down a few notes in the moments of silence between thought.
I like the idea of heavy bestial breathing and the subtle scratching noises of a quill to paper.
Mm.
Nice ambience.
Yeah.
My Lord Goroth.
I am no Lord Cold One.
She just kind of tilts her head at Cold One for a brief moment, but it pays it. It quickly tries to banish it from her mind. You said yourself that faith is a hard thing to move. It is not traded so easily. And while I understand that we would need to show you that we are willing to commit for warmth, could we ask, as a token of goodwill, something to bring back to our people, the next moon be easier? That they might know what you promise is true.
Oh boy. Okay. One more diplomacy check.
Yeah. Come on, dice.
I will, considering the past two rolls, you will have a +4 on this.
Okay. I gotta put more points in diplomacy, guys.
I have to put more points in the leadership. We all have things we need to improve on.
Yeah.
Ooh,
9.
sexy.
Okay. There is a pause.
long pause, longer than the others. He disappears into the darkness. You do hear him moving, but you cannot see him.
Mm-hmm. I'm fucking blind, bro.
Yeah, well, his eyes disappear for you. It
Yeah.
is total darkness now. And a few moments pass when the eyes return, and you hear something drop to the floor before you. Those with dark vision. You see, it's about like, I don't know. Let's say about 2 feet wide, 2 feet-ish tall. It is almost like a ball of bone. And it looks to be a myriad of skulls fused together to the point where one looks vaguely passable as human, but there are others intermixed, probably some birds, maybe some reptile creatures. It is an amalgamation of things, some unrecognizable as anything you would know. You will take this. Any who pay respects before it will know a modicum of warmth. For the next moon only, and they must pay respects each day. If they do not cast out the Godfather, this will not work, and, well, as I have said, I cannot grant warmth to those who kneel and pray to him.
I understand. And I thank you for your generosity. And she'll pick up the idol.
Cool. It's not super heavy. It's not light.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because you can't see it too well. It is. There are parts of it that are kind of sticky.
Great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I like sticky idols.
Yeah.
Little saliva.
Yeah, he sits there in silence as you pick it up.
Yeah, I go for it, and I will just kind of hold it, and at this point I am done. So I look into the darkness, hoping I'm looking at either of the others.
Yeah, while you can't see, you do have a vague awareness where the other two are, because they have been talking off and on.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your lenience in this matter, and you have given me much to ponder.
Perhaps one day I will meet your sire again. And I hope that is the day will be over the Godfather's corpse.
I don't know if it's a weird question to ask, but do you and Caecilian get on well at all?
Is that what he calls himself now?
Well, that's what everyone I've talked to calls him. He hasn't really told me to call him anything else, so. Did you know him by a different name?
Yes.
And what's that?
If you do not know it, I will not share it.
All right then.
Names are a powerful thing. I would think Cassillion's child would know that.
Might not have asked if I didn't.
Hairstyle makes more notes in his notepad.
Scribble, 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 scribble.
Is there anything else, or are you all good to leave?
I think I
Yeah,
am
believe so.
ready. My heart is cannot take much more.
Liana or Stal? Okay.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, cool. So you all, I guess, is there anything you want to do as a form of goodbye?
I mean, I'll kind of bow before I crawl into a hole. Like,
I mean, I'll
Okay.
back away, keeping my eyes toward Gorath on the way back to the path out. That seems like the correct thing to do in nature, at least, if I had to guess.
Okay.
Hairstyle actually just kind of gives a deep nod and then just walks out.
Okay. Cool. So you all, after doing your dismissals, you begin the longish crouch walk up the tunnel and emerge probably in close to the last rays of the sun. It is eminently nightfall. It hasn't happened yet, but it is soon. Probably about got like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Kaya sees you all come out. Well, you're all not dead, so that's good.
Not so far. I wonder if someone halfway out that threshold would get cut in half when it closed. I'm not going to try it, don't worry.
yeah.
Yes, please don't. I don't want to have to explain to everybody else how you all got yourselves cut in half.
Is that what happens when planes close off to each other?
I don't know.
I have no
Maybe.
idea.
Although, speaking of, I am kind of wondering if we were wrong about that being Nominar. Honestly, I might have just assumed that and run with it and forgotten that it was an assumption. He referred to it as a minuscule realm. It might have just been that the cave system in there that he's sequestered in rather than an entire plane. But questions
yeah,
for
refer to
next
it
time, I
as a
suppose.
small area.
Yeah.
I mean, what could be small for him could still be fathomably larger for us.
Well, yeah, but it wouldn't be an
I suppose
entire
that's true.
plane. They're generally infinite.
Hey, Rhea, should we have warned them that it really smells in there? Like, it smells like death? I don't think we gave that warning.
Well, we'll find out.
Oh.
You would get back there. Oh, it smells like death in there.
Yeah. By the way, it really fucking smelled there.
Yeah.
Like, garbage bag with 5-day-old roadkill in the middle of a midsummer heat wave.
Yep.
Oh my
Jeez. Oh, we're in like a kind of humid place too, aren't we?
It's vaguely humid. The smell does not reek out here. You cannot smell the carrion stench when you're outside.
Oh, okay.
I smell my clothing real
Yeah.
quick. Does it feel like it's caught the scent?
Vaguely, but not particularly. It's enough where it's like, is it just like
the scent memory is still in my nose, and I think I'm smelling it on my clothes, or is it actually like my clothes kind of absorbed it a little bit? It's hard to tell.
Are we by
God,
the
I hope
shore where we
I
are?
hope it's the nose memory. Because
The shore is about like you can see it in the distance.
Oh, okay.
You could walk there, but you're not like right on top of the beach or anything.
Oh, if we were reasonably close, I was going to take a dip in the water before going back, but I might, and then just prestidigitate myself dry, but I might have to prestidigitate
It would
myself.
take a few minutes to walk over there. Probably like 10-15 minute walk.
That's not too bad. That's not much of a detour.
Yeah.
Especially if, like, I don't know, this is also a god who sends fucking lycanthrope curse diseases into the world to get followers, so I don't want to take chances.
yeah,
Fair. If there's nothing else, you all make that little detour. Anybody who wants to kind of sort of wash / take a dip in the ocean can. The water is cool.
I'm hoping saltwater helps. We'll see.
Well,
join if we're
you'll
good.
quickly find out saltwater not great for hair.
Yeah.
Not super great for washing in general, but at the very least you feel kind of refreshed. You at least don't feel as gross after coming out of Death Smelling Cave.
Yeah. Well, we got breathed on by Goroth.
Yeah.
I think we should clean off the skull ball too, or
yeah, now that you have it out in daylight, you do see there is like partially dried like bits of like maybe skin / rotted muscle, maybe, and that's why it's sticky.
oh,
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I've just been holding that. I'm glad I took a bath.
all of this,
Yeah.
all of them just kind of gesture around ourselves. Everything that just happened and has been happening to us. This is why I'm not exactly religious.
You know, like when we were in there, I didn't want to just say something, but like feel really awkward as like a very passive headgear or headgear worshiper. Like I don't feel like I owe anything to the guy, but at the same time, man, it has been a trip.
Yeah.
So are you gonna wash the thing off, or are you gonna let it be sticky?
I don't know if is it like meant to be. I mean, we don't really know if it's
I think
supposed to be
just
sticky
been
or
with him.
You're not sure.
Yeah.
My guess is it's been with him, which means it's sticky. I don't think it matters that it's sticky, just that we pay respects.
Okay.
I guess it's not a very effective divine conduit if water
If
ruins
it can be
it.
washed off, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's on him.
So you take it for a dunk in the water. You do manage to actually wash off the sticky bits.
Cool.
And then once you all are done washing, you're able to get moving. Night falls before you get back to the encampment. The two of you that stayed at the encampment are. Did you go to bed at nightfall, or are you waiting for them to come back to talk to them?
Tilk would have spent the time like working on writing something up, but he wants to hear a status report.
Okay.
Yeah, I would also wanted to wait and hear if you found out anything.
So in that case,
she also probably was going to try something, even though she doesn't have the greatest faith herself.
Oh boy. Okay, let's hear it.
So after learning about her little bloodline, she is just going to try and pray and see if she can get any contact.
Okay. Let's. Okay. I'm assuming you are specifically praying to Azadel.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do. That's the wrong channel, Zach. Here we go. Let's do this. Interesting. So you're gonna pray. What exactly are you saying in this prayer? How in general, how are you going about this?
Oh, she is absolutely awkward. So she is a casual believer at best in like normal circumstances. And currently she is feeling a little trapped with the entire weird curse going on, and basically is going something like she is at her wit's end and she wants some answer, some hint or something that she can go on to try and break this freaking chain to the first beast or whatever. She doesn't like it. She hates it.
Okay.
Mom, this guy is bullying me and he won't let me, play with my toys at night. He's just kind of being a real jerk. You tell him to stop being a jerk?
Drives up in an
Can you beat up
SUV.
his dad?
Okay. So is there physically as part of the prayer? Is there anything specific you want to do, and is there anything specific you want to say as part of this prayer?
She is mostly thinking. She isn't actually like saying anything out loud, and she probably is doing it just for. She's doing it where on ground zero where she shapeshifts. Just
Got you. Okay.
Anything dramatic happens.
So you sit there and you kind of free flow of conscience kind of pray, or at least do what you think praying really is.
Mhm. More
and
shot out into the dark.
you're not sure how long you're doing that for, but there is a point in time when you're kind of aware of your thoughts, and then your thoughts kind of, they're still there, but they seem distant, and you can hear wind, and you can feel sunlight, you think. And in your mind's eye, you can picture clouds, and then the clouds are kind of breaking, and you can see a peak, a mountain peak that is also breaking through the clouds, but from below. And there is, from what you can tell, a plateau there, but it's hazy and unclear. And you kind of drop below the cloud line where you can see an immense jungle. It goes as far as the eye can see in every direction, just an ocean of green. And you sink even farther, and you disappear below the canopy of the jungle. You can hear things, noises of various animals. Some you don't recognize, some you do. And then it's like you're racing across the ground faster than you can really process. And then there is suddenly, as things kind of blur, they jerk to a stop, and there is a cave. and a semi-familiar scent of carrion. And then your senses slowly drift back to this world, back to reality.
Huh. She looks around with a start.
First time, huh?
Fisk.
And is the has a lot of time passed? Anything different?
It seems to have been a few minutes. At least. It's hard to tell. You don't have a timepiece. Although it is going to be dark soon.
Yeah. She kind of just looks around bewildered. Huh. Well, I didn't expect that. Was there anything other in the jungle that stood out? Other than the carrion?
It was speeding by so fast you couldn't really particularly latch on to anything. It's definitely a landscape you've never seen before, but you've heard from travelers talks of what jungles are like. You're familiar with the concept. You've just never seen one, and you think that's what one would look like.
It's a little different from what I thought they would look like, but if that's the case, maybe they...
Yeah. But the mountain you saw, you know it was massive. You've seen mountains. And mountains can be big, but that was big. Like, that was bigger than big.
So there were mountain ranges, like, in the distance.
Yeah. Violet Maple was surrounded by mountains.
Yeah. And on our colony here, or whatever,
there are mountains in the distance. Nothing comparable to what you saw.
Noted. Well, with that, she will go and just wait for the others then, I guess.
Okay.
She pats herself down and just generally checks that everything is okay. Nothing. She didn't freak out or anything, or burn up some buildings or whatever happened.
No. So you all reconvene at the beach after nightfall.
Real quick, sorry.
Oh, okay, sure.
Toke would get a hold, because he has an advisor to help with this. Would get a hold of Silvermoon at one point.
Okay.
To give a copy of his speech and to make her aware that he is wanting to make a speech. And so as not to spoil it, if I for the rest of the players, I was just going to send you the copy that I've written up.
Yeah, sure. I mean, my feedback's not going to matter. You don't know how to spell Nehedo. I'll tell you that.
I probably spelled it 3 different times in there. 3 different ways in there.
Need to be posting the actual spellings of these things is what I'm learning.
Yes.
Before I see you all.
Yeah.
It is amusing though to see you all try to figure it out.
Yeah, we got to do our best. It's all names.
It's a fun little mini game.
Yeah.
I was already bad at spelling, man.
Okay. I mean, she'll look it over, and she'll be like, "Well, I certainly think it's serviceable. Truth be told, I don't think there's going to be anything particularly that is going to really... Well, I don't want to say it won't win hearts and minds, but the effort will certainly be noted by most. Some might scoff at it, but that is the nature of these things.
But making the effort will at least earn you some points amongst a good portion of the populace.
Yes, it's. I want. I want them to see that I am active and not just warming a seat.
Well, I will say that despite the messes we have been in, at the moment, nobody is denying the efforts the council in general is putting in. You all, as well as the rest of us of the council, have been seen about doing things. People notice that, and people talk. Granted, sometimes there are rumors, sometimes people may not think you're doing enough regardless. However, people have noticed you being a part of things, unlike the majority of the nobles who hide in their tents all day.
I wish
People notice that.
there's a better way to reach them, other than making promises that at the moment we can't keep.
Yes, aristocracy are fickle creatures. It will be an ongoing thing you will find. That is a problem that will never be solved, I'm afraid.
Interesting enough, they're not the first ones to strong arm us and the council into a position where we need to make a deal. It was actually the Artificers Guild. Imagine that.
Yes, I thought the aristocrats would have been amongst the first, but the Artificers Guild is also not too surprising. They certainly had their fair share of the yearly budget from the kingdom, so it is not all that shocking. That said, they are hungry for their experiments, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but do not let them run roughshod over you.
I don't plan to.
They are a valuable asset, but one that still needs to be, what's the saying, collared.
I was going to say reined in, but one is more direct than the other.
Regardless, you must control them, not be controlled by them. That is the important takeaway.
Absolutely. It was amazing how stubborn they were in wanting to solve a problem that we are all facing. But unfortunately, their expertise was something that would prove invaluable, and they knew that.
Yes, they are a sharp group. And, well, the current head is certainly has some business know-how.
What are his going-ons? He seems like an odd fellow. The Alchemists Guild leader seems rather straightforward. This gentleman, on the other hand, seems different.
Well, it is hard. Facts are hard to come by. I have heard some rumors about the fellow. He's well, obviously he's a dwarf. But Ordis is, well, I'll tell you what the rumors say. I'll let you make up your own mind. And perhaps we could have our more secrets aligned friend dig into things. Maybe they could find something. But rumor has it, he was a surface dwarf who actually was making some attempt to make inroads with the deep dwarves, reconnect to his roots, so to speak. Well, if you know dwarfs, well, they're a stubborn bunch, and especially for a surface dwarf, that's very challenging. To get that kind of respect, to not only be allowed into the deep cities, but to be accepted into a clan, earning a sponsorship, from what I hear, is quite challenging.
but he very much had an interest in their demon machines.
Really?
But that fell through. Oh, yes, and trust me, there are all kinds of horrid rumors about such devices. But our artifice-minded friend does not take kindly to setbacks, so when that plan ultimately fell through, it is said he came to Adax and joined the Alchemist Guild, and the rest is, quite frankly, history. Or so the story goes. How much fact there's to that, I do not know. I would certainly verify it if you wanted to act on any of that information.
Indeed. Thank you for your counsel. I knew it was impromptu, and
As I've said in the past, I am here to serve, Your Highness. Now, if there's nothing else.
no, I believe we're still on track for the festivities.
Yes, it is coming along swimmingly. Until the next council meeting, I'll let you get back to your work.
Have a good evening.
She will dismiss herself. And soon after, everybody will reconvene at the beach to discuss. And also, you see these three approach carrying this weird skull ball thing.
What in the God's name is that?
Funny you should ask it with that particular phrase.
Well, I'm not going to like this answer, am I?
You're not going to have fun with our explanation either.
Oh, lovely. Well, allow me to sit down now, then.
Yeah.
I don't think you get down far enough for
So
this.
do you want the good news or the bad news?
I mean, it's not like it got any worse. Worst case, it stays the same, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Depending on how you look at the title stuff, sure.
Medicine first, sugar after.
I thought it was supposed to be at the same time.
True. The bad news is we're not gonna get off easy. If we don't want to kill each other, we gotta get rid of Head here as one of our core pantheon.
Or hold a long-standing grudge.
Yeah.
Tulk finds a way to get lower into his chair.
The good news,
I don't think you get low enough.
Is he if we can, I guess, essentially replace and bring Goroth into our pantheon, we might not he has promised warmth, and based on how I asked and how he seemed to answer, that means we're not gonna have to worry about killing each other.
So
at least for one moon.
Well, if we can replace Het here entirely, then his warmth is here to stay. This idol is for a gesture of goodwill. Those that pray to it, and give it a proper offering over the next full moon, each night that they would transform, he will show them warmth.
So let me. Oh, go ahead.
Besides just the nights of the full moon, it is also every day.
Well, it has to be every day, but not like the whole month, as I understood it.
No, it was.
He said every day.
As far as our style's understanding was Pray during the next moon and also every day.
Yeah, my thought was every
to
day.
clarify, because I may not have been clear enough, because he was specifically trying to give you clear instructions. To clarify, the intent is, at the minimum, to get the temporary boon of this totem, you must pray at least every day before the full moon, or pay respect. He did not specifically say pray. He said pay respect.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is
Yeah,
room
sorry.
for interpretation in that part. However, at the very minimum, every day before the night of the full moon. So 3 days at least.
Oh.
You can do more, and maybe that will give more. That part you don't know.
Yeah, that was my understanding. I might have worded it poorly.
Yeah. Well, if I wasn't clear enough, I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
So,
That makes sense.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that makes more sense.
So, let me understand correctly. Gorath has said that if we want a blessing of potentially not tearing each other to shreds during the next 3 nights of the full moon,
Really?
we'd have to give some sort of offering or pray, give homage to this idol.
Yes.
And
we have to pay it respects, and we can't hold Het here in our hearts as we do it.
so,
Like, he's not asking for full conversion, because that was my direct concern, was that we're not going to be able to pull something like that in any kind of reasonable time. Even if he wanted us as allies.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't exactly want to do that anyway, considering he sees us, well, all of mortal kind, as tools to do with what he will with. I mean, he's
Well,
trying to gain followers by taking us hostage.
devil's advocate, in fairness, he said that he couldn't see us as allies because of our worship. He could see us, so he had to see us as tools. That might change if stuff changes.
so
But he's still willing to see us as tools, though. That really doesn't improve my opinion of him.
Like
Sure.
I said, devil's advocate.
Hmm.
Oh shit, is that not? Is that not okay?
Is that
I'll allow
racially
it.
charged?
Well, only because the shadow thing.
I'll allow it this time.
Okay.
Rhea says, "Well, I know for one that I want nothing to do with this guy."
I don't see there if we can avoid it, but
well,
But
and
if we can get some temporary clemency, it buys us time to at least find a solution that isn't giving up our will.
I don't think that parlaying with him is really going to be really good.
it was an avenue explored. Putting aside my faith and concerning myself with just the people.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them here, to a degree, are adherents to Nehedo.
Yes, and he did not say, and he said that he could tolerate Nehedo worship. It's
Yes, he could
only
tolerate-
headgear that he doesn't like.
Alexandrius headgear.
Oh yeah, you
still
did just
happening.
say the godmother, but I imagine that kind of extends. He's focused on headgear, not getting followers.
Well, yes, and now Xandris is one being of Nehedo, Hetir being the first. If, well, not first, technically speaking, because it's order of the spelling. Either way, removal of Hetir would be a removing 50% of the faith in the adherence to Nehedo. Ramifications of that, we are going to, again, I'm putting aside my faith here and my personal qualms with this.
Mm-hmm.
We would be having to, over time, convert everyone from following Hetir to following Gorath, despite the fact that all they've known their entire lives is Nehedo, and by extension Hetir. And then we also are at that point we've already lost the collegiate.
To who knows where.
Yeah.
God nowhere. We would then also lose the most devout of Nehedo. High priestess, clerics, priests. What remains of paladins? In doing such a thing. Paying the homage, probably doable. Paying it respects.
Yeah, like I said, I realize that's why I led with the bad news being we'd have to give up Head here if we want this to be permanent, but I did what I could to at least buy us a temporary respite. If we decide that like it turns out this guy is right and Head here's kind of a dick, just theoretically, then maybe that'll change down the line, but I just want to make sure that we aren't literally tearing ourselves apart while we try to find the solutions we need.
It is possible that Hetir is a dick without Gorath being right.
Yes.
I hasten to add.
We also found out that the world almost ended once before.
Joy.
Well, we sort of already knew. At least based on what Gorath said. Well, to back up a little bit. We've talked a little bit about this before with the world likely, well, at this point confirmed, working in cycles. There's creation, life goes on, and eventually there's terminus, or whatever it's called, in different stages of the cycle, where the planes return to their original state, new gods and people are born, etc. At least that's what our stories currently say. There might be some details that are off. At least my assumption with that, knowing what we do so far, was that with each cycle, the planes would separate into what we have now, but it doesn't seem that that's the case, perhaps. From what Gorath said, the incident, if it can be described so lightly, that caused the planes to enter their current severed state, traitor mortal, all that, was the time that our cycle was originally supposed to end. But said ending was halted by Hetir somehow. Gorath may not be a reliable source, given his bias, but he is a source, so take that as we will.
Her style.
Yes.
You went a second time. Is there anything different that you noticed, or anything that you took note of?
Just the fact that apparently the gods are gods infighting could be a lot bigger than we anticipated. There's something about the cycle having been disrupted, and it could be potentially Hetir's fault.
The cycle's been disrupted, then the terminus may not be set.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Especially with cycle was disrupted so long ago. I mean, it's long enough ago that it's essentially in Aldfair's current creation myths. We're pretty far removed from what the cycle was originally bound to do, so who knows what could happen at this point. Sorry, Aldfair style, I didn't mean to talk over you. I meant only to add.
It's kind of already in the ballpark of what I was already anticipating. I'm now
Wow.
curious about reading more of the Nahedo books. I fall asleep in church a lot.
Yeah. I'm going to try something because I don't feel like I have a good grasp on Korra. I believe our introduction was messy.
Hmm.
I'd like
think
to
he's-
blame Gorath for that. Oh, he also implied that the four who infected our people coming in contact with us was his doing. He
Well,
might have just been taking credit. Don't know. Ego,
think-
all that.
Well,
But he
that
definitely
was a
wanted that to
little
happen.
weird. In fairness,
What was that?
The I know he speaks a little strangely.
yeah.
So, but what he was trying to get across is that it was not planned.
Oh, okay.
No,
Yeah,
it wasn't
it's-
planned, but we came across, I think, some of his quote unquote hatchlings.
yeah,
And the
they
hatchlings of his
were
hatchlings.
they were born with basically bound to him, but like this was an unintended consequence.
Good. He didn't plan this out.
But he is taking
Small
advantage.
victories.
And given that our group are fated mortals, we are significant to him. That makes us valuable to him as followers.
Yes.
Which is
So he
curious
doesn't want to let us go.
that he thinks there's something special with us.
Well, he wouldn't be the first one to say
Yeah.
that. My
Yeah,
grandfather
the
mentioned
crazy
something
beast.
similar.
It raises a lot of questions about what the hell we've been dragged into and what the hell this entire thing is.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, at least Zach, I think Cillian mentioned something similar, being like elated when mythic power developed.
Yes.
Yeah, my grandfather mentioned something similar about our mythic abilities awakening. So I mean, it seems to have to do with the sort of elevated capabilities all of us have developed throughout this entire process.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly something we should work to advance, in my opinion. I think we need every advantage we can get.
Yeah.
If your grandfather wants to expound upon how we would advance that, that'd be useful. But
I
otherwise,
can ask next time we have a reunion if you want.
I would appreciate it.
Well, previously you have called upon him.
Yeah,
Do you want to try again?
I could do that right now if everybody wants to chat.
Can I
You can
like?
certainly try.
If we do it, I'm
What?
facing away.
Okay.
So you're facing away.
Yeah, I don't wanna get like possessed too. I already narrowly avoided becoming a werebat.
It's true. So did I. You worried you're going to become a tiefling?
I don't know, like tiefling wouldn't be bad. It sounds like the whole being related to Cassilian comes with a lot of baggage thing. No offense or anything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it has its
Lots
benefits.
of rules, and we're not sure if he's like has our interests in mind too.
To his credit, he hasn't imposed any rules on me.
Well, we can't look at like we can't meet gazes with the shadow. That's a rule.
Well, that's not what he told me. That's what the Inquisitors told me.
Well, that's fair.
I mean, I don't know if I'd be really comfortable with that. Considering the current conversation that we're having started with the I don't want to say offer, but the inclination to throw in with Goroth and throw Hetchier out.
I should. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I should clarify. We weren't in any way trying to push for that to be the case. That's just the
That's just
option that was opened up to us by Gorath if we so desire, which
Yeah,
I'm ambivalent. I don't really follow. Well, I'm not ambivalent because I don't want to follow Gorath, but I don't exactly have face to throw away right now. So
I negotiated my heart out. I did my best, but I did not want to piss off a god.
I mean, naturally. How wily or cunning did he seem?
He was
Straightforward,
pretty
actually.
fairly straightforward. Like he's got a big picture in mind, just bigger than any of us could probably imagine. But I don't. He didn't seem very like I'm going to try to trick you into a deal that's not of your benefit. Actually,
yeah.
I think he kind of resents that because of what Hetchier did to him.
Yeah, more or less, I think he prefers to strong arm us into following him, which is basically what this curse is.
Hmm.
Come what may, we will serve him.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
As he basically said, I would rather prevent that. But
Removing my faith from the picture, you would be hard pressed to do such conversions, and I think the loss to morale, resources, people, not to mention it could potentially cause infighting. It'd be a tough benefit to weigh. Adding my faith, I believe that he speaks blasphemy. Simply put. There are many who curse Hetier's name, and he's not been so fickle to curse them with a 3 nights of every month murdering their entire family and their neighbors.
Yeah, I was very quick to try to I guess emphasize that Hetchier, to our knowledge, has been very beneficial, and if this guy keeps pressing despair and agony, then no one's gonna want to worship him to begin with.
He talks of the cycle as a set thing, but then later admitted that the cycle had been tampered with.
I think he wants to get that back on track, is what he wants.
Well,
I don't think he wants to cause the end of days, but the next opportunity that it's gonna happen, he's all for letting it go.
advantageous to him.
Yeah. I think just he sees it as sort of a law of nature, the thing that's correct, etc. Personally, given that we live in the current cycle, I don't think I'm about that. But
well, I wonder that even if we're let's say that we worship him and he gets everything he wants from us, he's a god. Who's to say the cycle is coming is even something that would happen in our children's lifetime?
I mean, in the meantime, if we were his followers, our souls would be devoured by him upon our deaths. So
I'm just bringing up the time frame of what the end of the world is.
I mean,
in progress.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
And he seeks to continue pushing that along.
Mostly he seems really focused on killing Headyear.
Yeah, I think that's really like
The cycle
core.
seems kind of a secondary thing.
Yeah.
Maybe even an excuse to execute his grudge. That's just a guess, though.
Potentially. Either way, if we get no results within the time frame from the combined efforts of the Alchemist Guild and the Artificers Guild, we can push forward potentially giving respect to the curse through this thing.
Yeah. It might be something that could be added to the practices of those from Starmark. We really need to see if they have a name for their following.
I would like to avoid
Less of a
giving.
mouthful.
I would like to avoid giving them a direct object of worship to him.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean,
slightly unrelated. He does not seem to think very highly of the celestial dragons that the four. I'm not even going to call them diplomats anymore. Assholes were going on about.
Forgive me if I believe that problem has to wait.
No, I'm just giving you information.
Yeah,
to be honest, from what they said, it sounds like the Celestial Dragon's methods for gaining followers were very similar to Gorath's in that they strong-arm mortals into a position where they have to follow them.
Yeah.
What was that, Rhea? Sorry.
Well, there's one thing we can agree on, that we don't like them. She says
Yeah.
sardonically.
It seems there's not a lot to like on this continent. I'm finding.
We could just march all of our forces in and try to kill a god. That would go swimmingly.
Oh, yeah.
I would not suggest that.
I don't know if that would be very strategically viable given the choke point that we have to go through on the way in.
I do not believe that we should throw in if respects need to be paid, because in a month's time, that's all we can do. Then so be it. We can respect a thing without worshipping it.
Well,
Yeah.
that may only work for this upcoming moon. Bear in mind.
That's 30 more days. Well, 36 more days.
Yeah, that effectively doubles our time, right?
Yeah. I want to make sure that's clear. Like he put the giving respect as on the table this month. After that, we would need to make some serious changes to continue it. Just so we're on the same page.
Either way, glad your venturing was fruitful and that you all came back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, it didn't do too bad.
It smelled very bad in his lair as well.
Oh yeah.
Glad to be out of there.
One could say like death.
I mean, what's decaying? The stuff around him or him? If he has been... Assuming
probably
what
victims.
True. Oh,
What was
Oh, I said in comment to what was if it was him or not, and really said probably victims.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably. I do have to wonder, though, how powerful is he exactly if he has been denied followers for so long? Granted, the scale of power for someone who is a god at all is probably fairly large, but...
That's my thought as well. Because he is a godlike being trapped within a cave.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure at this point if he's only trapped within the cave or a realm that contains the cave. He referred to where he is as a minuscule realm, so I'm led to believe it isn't an entire plane like I originally thought, but I'm not positive.
Because you did, as he stated, had you threw him out,
Yeah,
and he cannot inhabit the mortal realm. Because if he did, he would probably be causing a mess.
exactly.
Yeah.
I believe it arrogant of us to think that we could do battle with a godlike being diminished in power or not, but at this point, it's not the least attractive option. And that terrifies me to a degree.
Yeah. I mean, he
Yeah,
kind of has us
get
backed
it.
into a corner as a god of beasts. I feel like he should know what that entails.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe he would follow such a belief that the strong kill the weak. He's injured us. Surely.
Yeah.
But we're not dead. We're not captured. We're wounded. If we can bandage that wound, then perhaps he can know what it's like to be prey. But again, that's speaking rather arrogantly. If we are these fated beings, fated mortals, we don't know.
are. Oh, sorry.
We don't know what the extent of our abilities are, realistically. It's just another word.
Too. At the very least, abilities aside, he does seem to view us as a very valuable asset, and we might be able to use that to our advantage in some way.
I wonder. This would be connected to him, right?
What?
Yes, to at least a degree. He would have to. That would be how he knows that we're paying respects to it.
Wonder if
Hope he isn't the eavesdropping type. He probably won't like me very much next time if he is.
He's not going to like me at all. I'm curious on a few things. First, I'm going to do detect good and detect evil. Is it evil?
No, it's not.
Okay, I didn't think it would be.
Oh yeah, detect evil only detects evil. So you're not sure outside of that. You just know it's not evil.
Okay, well, I find some comfort in that. This thing is not evil, which, as an extension of him, I imagine, makes him not directly evil. So that's a small comfort. But I wonder if such a thing is tied to him and his essence, as are many of us here, could the clerics and high priestess use that against him?
That's an interesting point. I wonder about that too now.
Maybe.
I'm unfortunately not versed well enough in the arcane or planes to really give a good idea. I know a fair amount, but it's mostly just scripture. I don't think a scripture has ever talked about using a totem as a shock collar.
Focus for an attack on a deity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe that was in any of the stories. I'll make a religion check to see if it was in any of the stories.
I can, if it's possible to reflect on my knowledge of planes to see if that holds water, I will do the same.
I'll take a arcanic
Sure.
I'll assist with the planner.
persuasion.
Okay.
Ah, thank you.
That's a nat 20 for 28
Nice.
after
Okay.
a surge.
I'll use my
Let's wait
last
on the-
surge on this.
Don't forget you
Wait
have
on-
to roll to assist, right? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Just waiting on everybody's results before I start giving information.
29.
It's, I accidentally closed my sheet.
We're all gonna just fucking blow this roll out of the water, and he's just like, "No, you
I'm
fucking
like, nah, that's
fools!"
dumb. We're like, oh,
Another nat 20
Well, I
for
do
29.
assist.
yeah, you
Yep.
hardcore assist. That's plus 2,
Jesus.
right?
Yes, it is.
Yes. All right.
23.
That's
23, not bad.
23. So for knowledge religion, you're not recalling any stories where an altar or some such has been used to like make an attack on a god. Typically the stories involving altars, icons, totems, various names. Typically they are a way of cutting out a focus to stop or to have an impact on religious people. Because typically these are things people go to pray or pay their respects or some such. And it is believed that those things create a very real connection, albeit it is believed to be a sort of one-way connection of conveying your respect or prayers or thoughts or whatever to the divine that it is tied to. But no stories about using one to deliver an attack upon a deity itself. For the Arcana check, sympathetic magic is a thing. Does it apply to divine icons and altars and such? You're not sure.
Yeah.
But theoretically, if one was powerful enough to project their arcane mastery across the realms, maybe? Hard to say.
Perhaps.
That's some high tier magic that is beyond your experience.
Yeah.
If it were possible. For the knowledge planes, kind of similar to the arcane bent, such a thing, if it does directly connect to a divine entity, it is a connection that goes across the veil. Which would mean trying to hijack that with magic and fire your own magic across it would require significant power. Because it takes significant knowledge and experience and power to even allow yourself to cross the veil into another realm. But to project an attack across the realm without physically going there yourself, it's a spicy meatball.
I suppose that makes sense given how many spells even specifically say like this works anywhere from any distance as long as they're on the same plane of existence.
Yeah.
Or like that does seem like that's a pretty significant barrier.
Yeah.
Does it get easier when the conjunction is open though?
That you're not sure.
You just crossed the threshold.
Yeah. We would need a lot of power to throw at it to begin with, and I don't think any of us really have anything quite like that.
She just walk up to the high priestess, ask if she wants to kill a god. Might want to specify a god in direct competition with Headgear.
Yeah, that might help. They're actually speaking of the High Priestess. Well, given what we know about the cycle now, maybe the thought of Terminus not being quite so certain is something that could lift her spirits a bit. I mean, I know she's not doing very well right now.
I intend to try. The issue is the source that you got it from.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I admit the source is not great.
What I do know is that as long as we are, we'll go with the word stained,
Mhm.
and he has that little burrow, what the High Priestess and the clerics can do may be diminished.
Maybe.
As harder and harder for them to reach out.
I wonder what happens if the burrow is just filled with alchemicry the next time it opens up.
Yeah.
Did anyone stick a stick through there as the burrow closed?
I was wondering about that on the way back out. No, we didn't really get the chance to try. But I'm
Caius made it
curious.
sound like we might get cut in half if we did.
Oh, my next thought would be it'd be shunted far and fast.
I mean, if it gets shunted in the other direction, like away from our plane, then maybe that's a way to attack a god. Please don't take that seriously. The mental image just amuses me.
Get all the black powder we can muster.
Yeah.
Then pause the game as we slowly unload our packs of black powder barrels.
Because it's enter turn-based mode.
Yes. It costs next to nothing in the action economy.
Yeah.
Someone casts Firebolt. Anyhow. But I think that is enough doom and gloom. I wanted to make sure that you all came back alive. You did. You came back with more than I expected.
We have a habit of doing that.
Gorath has an interesting choice of altars as well. Or interesting taste in altars, I suppose. A little bit more literally than I would prefer.
Yeah, the face ball is very unique.
Damn sight terrifying is what it is.
Also, yes.
So you know.
It is interesting that a very canine-shaped deity preferred a ball as a site of worship.
I didn't even think of that. Okay, that
I thought of it
honestly,
instantly.
I didn't even fucking consider it when I made it.
Just going to go up to the ball and say, "Who's a good boy?"
Do we have to throw it for him in order to pay respects?
Is that how you pay respects, by throwing it?
Yeah.
Do you want to die?
And then we try to just mimic to throw it, and we don't.
Oh no.
Just head it on one of the skulls and say, "Who's a good boy?"
So, yeah. Are you all going to head to bed, rest, and
I suppose
we
it's
should.
time to do that.
We should figure out where to put this thing and then, probably go to bed.
Were you wanting to attempt to contact Caecilian, or are you putting that off? So I know you mentioned it, but we kind of moved on from it.
What was the question somebody had? I don't remember.
I don't remember what specific question
either.
was.
Oh, okay.
It was a question of whether or not we could take a god with these new mythical powers of ours.
Oh.
A
diminished god at that.
If I had to guess, probably not right now. But maybe, I don't know.
I mean, if anything, be a great joke to tell your grandpa. your grandparent.
That's fair. I'll tell him about the ball thing too. Yeah, I can give it a try right now. I don't know how contactable he is. He did mention that the diminished presence of Nehedo here, either due to proximity or Gorath's influence, I'm not sure, did help with being able to talk to him. I don't know how common that will be, but he's more familiar with these entities than we are, so I'm curious about what his opinion would be on how we would stack up, I suppose.
Hey, Granddad, how do you kill a god?
Yeah. His previous suggestion was well, oh no, I talked about that before, never mind. But yeah, is that something everyone wanted to be around for? Is that
Gods no.
okay.
With the utmost respect.
I
thought I would ask. I just wanted to make sure.
But also, I don't want to suffer.
I don't
Is
think
it
he's
dangerous for us? Like it.
I mean, he isn't outwardly aggressive or anything. Not a demon. Jeez.
No, that's not what I mean. It's just I don't know if there's going to be side effects of being around.
Oh. Probably not.
I mean, that's probably something worth asking.
Yeah, okay. I can do it by myself this time, and then I'll ask him about side effects and about our capabilities.
Ooh, one more thing.
Mhm.
Ask about the deep dwarves and something referred to as demon machines.
Could these machines have engines? Could they be demon engines?
Why?
Following up on a rumor.
Okay.
Demon
And anything
sounds horrifying.
a little bit. Any particular questions?
Unfortunately, I don't believe they would. The things I'd want to know would be below Cassilian's notice.
Also, if you want, you could ask Cassilian about the name that Goroth knows him by. I don't know if that would be good or bad or mean anything, but if you want to bond with your great grandfather.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Erstyle, are you interested in watching them talk to a Shadow Archdevil?
Go on.
No.
Then...
I have some thinking to do.
Okay. Well, when you have the time, I have something that might be interesting for people to look at. But one fire at a time.
Fire.
Okay. So who all is going to go do the little chat with Grandpapa Shadow Demon Devil thing?
Rhea is curious to go with, but she probably would just remain outside the sphere of influence until the question of is it safe is asked.
Well, it's hard to say how big that sphere of influence is, but I'll go ahead and you're going with her.
Yeah.
Sveta is not, as I understand.
Correct.
Okay.
Letting her play it safe this time, and next time, if it turns out it's not a problem, then
Okay. First, you said you had something you wanted to do. What is the thing?
Great. I just forgot what I wanted to do. God damn it.
Congratulations.
Okay, well, dredge it back. I will go ahead and do that scene with them, and I will come back to you.
Okay.
So Leon and Ray, you go off. Where are you going? You can't go to the ship because Ray is infected. So where
Yeah.
do you want to go to do this?
Well, let's see. I'll need a bit of privacy to talk to him, just because if anyone else witnesses this, they're gonna freak out.
I mean, we could go to Ground Zero.
Oh, that's true. No one else really hangs out up there, right?
Yeah.
That's a good spot then.
Oh, your charred apartment?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Is
Sure.
is that like on the roof or is it inside?
It's on the 3rd floor.
Oh, okay.
It's a partially finished apartment.
Yeah.
Cool. So the two of you go over there. You head up. Nobody follows you. All right. So you enter this apartment-ish room that room. It's an apartment. It has multiple rooms.
Yeah.
But there's a set of chains, scorch marks all over the place. Otherwise, barren. Except for maybe a few things of Rhea, if she left anything in there.
Yeah.
It's just it's gonna be burned, so he's nah.
Yeah. All right.
Burn marks.
So
Ambiance.
you need to make a percentile roll.
Okay.
I'm
See, as
assuming you're
before,
keeping it fairly dark in here.
yeah, if there is any source of light from a window or anything, I'll face away from that so that I'm facing toward my shadow. At least the angle my shadow is most likely at. I know it doesn't always follow the rules of physics.
Yeah.
Just, well, grandfather, I was hoping to check in again.
Oh, okay.
37 on the percentile.
So there is a slight dimming of the surroundings as the shadows seem to deepen, and your shadow shifts and moves so that it is in the proper place, but looking at you with those gaps in its where its eyes would be. And Ray, you can see this this is happening.
She's trying not to look at the shadow directly. So, but yes.
Yeah. And in Shadow Cant, Liana, you hear, "Oh, hello there. Are we having company this time?"
Hello again. Yes, if that's all right. Rhea was the only one who was comfortable with coming here. Though she did want to make sure there weren't any side effects of being in our presence at the time.
Oh, as long as she's a friend, I don't see there being a problem.
Ah, perfect. So, some of us went to speak with Gorath when the conjunction opened up again tonight. It was somewhat enlightening. We were able to confirm a lot about his personality. It was a lot, as you had said, very straightforward. Sees mortal followers or potential followers as just tools to force to do his bidding if they don't do it voluntarily.
They get voluntold.
Yeah, so basically has us in a sort of hostage situation with the curse. He wasn't very open to listening to reason, though. We did hear some interesting things about Hetir, though. Grain of salt hearing it from Gorath, given his biases. Apparently, at least from what he said, the cycle that we're in right now was originally going to end in the time before the planes split off from each other, but was somehow stopped by Hetir. Are you able to, since you were around at the time, is there any more context you have about that?
He switches to common at this point, which when he speaks in common, it sounds strained, like it's kind of coming through a filter of some kind. Like it sounds more distant than what it was when he was speaking in Shadowcant, but he's speaking this way so that Rhea can also understand.
Star radio voice.
Not quite. It's just it's not as clear as it would have been if he was speaking in Shadowcant.
Yeah.
That is a hefty question. So you want to know if Hetyear is the one who broke the cycle?
Well, partially that, and partially whether the cycle is even broken in the way that Gorath said it was. Like I said, he has his biases, so I am
That is,
wary of taking what he says at face value.
as I've mentioned before, Gorath is a simpler creature. But he's not a liar, per se.
But he is capable of being.
Yes, he's brutish, as I mentioned before. It is debatable whether the cycle was supposed to end last time. Fate is a persnickety thing.
You said that too.
It is, from some perspectives, the conflict at the time should have been the end. That time was expansive. And it was approaching a degree of untenable nature. The key example of that being, well, the name that was stricken from history, as some would refer to him.
The Forgotten One?
No. The one I believe your people now call the traitor. Yes, the mortal whose name was stricken from the record of history.
There's been a lot of record striking throughout these times, so I had to narrow it down.
It is a common theme, isn't it? Curious.
I'm noticing. I believe, from what I was told, Gorath referred to himself in much the same way when he first met my friends.
Yes.
I would not be surprised if there has been many more gods that have fallen through history.
Oh, yes. So what exactly are you wanting to ask?
Well, there were a few questions that our group had as a whole. I'll start with well, this one might be amusing to you. We have elevated abilities of some kind due to our ties to fate, at least from what I can tell. I'm curious about conversely, how diminished Gorath's own power is with his relative lack of followers compared to other gods. I imagine a god of any kind is still far above the power of a mortal. But do you think, given your greater familiarity, that he is possible to strike at?
At your current strength, certainly not. A god even deprived of followers is formidable, but not necessarily beyond the strength of mortals. They are just generally not present within such a realm for them to reach. Gods are not all enduring and everlasting. They may be immortal and unaging, but they can be killed. Now,
And we do have physical access to Goroth's realm.
yes. However, he is not entirely deprived of followers, willing or otherwise. But even without those, he is quite frankly a beast. Every beast within reality owes their prowess to him, in a sense. If Hettier is to man, then Goroth would be to beast.
Interesting. So, probably not someone we should consider trying to attack just yet.
Not as of now, no. But quite frankly, if you do in fact want my thoughts, child, killing Gorath would be a waste of a valuable asset.
That's fair. I'll be honest, Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
I took your last suggestion under advisement when you said that he could be manipulated, but to be honest, I have no idea how to manipulate, well, anyone really, but least of all a deity.
When it comes to manipulation, understanding the desires and the pains of your target is key. Understanding what makes them tick. I can tell you this about Gorath. He is angry and upset. That is something that can be wielded quite easily. However, it does sound as though he has put you in a bit of a situation.
He has.
Hettier or him?
He does have us in a bit of a stranglehold with his curse.
But I'll be honest with you, child. Our goals are one and the same, yes?
Survival, more or less. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
The reality is, Hettier will have to die for that to happen. His time has come and gone. It is a promise that cannot be broken.
Was
It is
Hettier
a promise from the Red Raven, and those promises are never broken.
I know very, very little about the Red Raven, but my curiosity about them grows by the day.
As it does with most who know about it. Or him, or the Forgotten One, or whatever sobriquet he dons.
Yeah, that's how he was referred to when Caius told us about him, a follower of his who works with us. He hasn't been very vocal about the specifics, though.
Of course not. There is not much known about him. What I personally know is that I believe he predates this cycle.
That makes sense, given he exists outside the... well, if outside is even the correct term, I know the planes don't exactly operate in only the 3 dimensions that us mortals are familiar with, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
I assumed the same, given at least how Goroth seemed to feel about him, saying that the Red Raven always wins, always gets his victory. So it sounds like he is an entity who has existed throughout every cycle, if that is the case. Or every...
That is impossible to know.
Cycle. Yeah.
He was an enigma even before the Shattering.
Yeah. It seems
But
like
regardless, he promised Hetgear the day will come where he will fall. We thought reaching the end of Hezrona's time, that would be the time. It was not, which is why it is debatable whether the cycle was supposed to end. Much time, much history occurred during, well, when everything was one. And even more time, nigh double such time, has passed since.
Yeah. So...
Is this part of one cycle? We do not know. Could it be the time worth 2 cycles? Potentially. So whether Gorath is correct in that, I cannot say. But if Gorath believes the cycle should have ended, he will certainly be much more hard-headed in his goal.
Seems that he does. He also seems to desire for the cycle to end. He expressed a belief that it should end, or at least that it would. That it seemed to be a... I don't know for sure his mind, but it sounded like he equated it with other laws of nature and reality, that it would be correct if it did.
Yes, his nature is nature, as much as my nature is shadow. He cannot change in that way. He is a beast. He is very much nature as much as he is a part of nature.
Yeah.
He does not qualm over moral injustice or evil and wrongness. He is a beast. An angry beast who wants his prey. And his prey is Hetgear. No doubt about that.
Oh, he made that very clear.
Yes, I'm sure he did.
He would kill Hetgear at all costs, in his words. Costs to us, at least. Not costs to
As
him
would I.
far.
We are shared in that objective.
Yeah. I admit I am personally not invested in Hetgear in particular, so I'm kind of on the fence, but if it means saving the world that we live in, then I mean, I'll do what I have to do.
Yes, child, there are difficult realities you will have to come to terms with. For us to reach our goal, he must fall. There is not a fated path where he remains alongside this world.
What was the promise that he made to make this happen? This entire situation?
It has been a long time, but give me a moment to recall the words. Allegedly, in time long since past, when Hetgear was one of the few that walked the realm, so too did the Red Raven fly. And it told Hetgear, promised him, that
things die, new life rises. And so that life must too die. But above all else, remainders must pass first. And in that, and if I remember the words correctly, I quote, and so too will you fall.
Can't imagine how the Red Raven would have broached that subject to begin with.
He is a curious creature who enjoys speaking in vagaries and riddles.
That makes sense. So is Hatier's continuation somehow preventing new life from arising?
It is hard to say. We had many theories. From my perspective, Hetier must pass regardless of this world continuing or not. But he must pass before the conclusion of Terminus.
What happens if he doesn't?
Well, that has not been considered. Because, well, as has been said, the Red Raven always wins. So to question his continued survival has been a topic unbroached.
See. Does anyone know anything of the Red Raven's motives? Should we want the Red Raven to win, or do we?
It
are we just at his
is.
mercy?
I have my suspicions, but I cannot say for sure. The Red Raven is aloof. It does not. It both, well, quite frankly, I cannot prove that it manipulates events. I have suspicions that it does, but perhaps it doesn't. I don't know, but it is constantly watching. It is ever present, but rarely makes itself known. It seems to like to watch. But beyond that, I have not been able to discern its motive, which should tell you much in answer to that question.
It does. From what Kaya said, it does seem like it is very invested in us as a group. I suppose for the same reasons Gorath is.
Perhaps.
I don't know if it. Well, it seems to be manipulating a bit in some way. I don't know exactly what it's doing to or with Tilk, but he has this kind of frenzy state he's able to enter. Sometimes it comes upon him involuntarily. That seems to be connected to the Red Raven based on what interactions with Caius would suggest.
You see your shadow, one of its hands reaches up and strokes at its chin. That is very curious indeed.
And that was even before he was a lycanthrope, so I don't know what it's like now. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised he was able to be infected.
Very, very curious.
So was he.
Yeah.
I will do some of my own digging My time is growing short, anyways.
Well, if I have time, there were some questions the group had that I a little bit sidetracked from.
Make it quick.
Do you know anything about deep dwarven demon machines?
Oh, now that's a curious question. What do you want to know?
Oh, you're telling me. To be honest, I'm not sure. There was something Tilk was asking about. He said he had made some inquiries about
Some
someone.
rumors, I think.
Yeah, he was following up on a rumor. I'm not sure what he was looking for, though.
They are things that exist, yes? Curious little contraptions.
Mm.
But you'd be hard pressed to find such a thing elsewhere in the world.
Yeah, I wonder how the deep dwarves are doing these days.
Well, if my reports are anything to go by, surprisingly well. But I suppose it shouldn't be that surprising, considering they were forged in the fires of war between demons and drow.
Yeah, this must have seemed really normal for them, actually.
They are holding, although I hear many of their tunnels are reeking of death as of late.
Suppose that adds.
And
What was the last thing? There was another question someone else had, and I don't remember what it was. Like, out of character, I forgot.
anybody remember too much of it?
I thought we were gonna make a joke about the fact that the beast god gave us a ball.
Oh, I did want to let you know that the altar provided by Gorath, the canine-shaped deity, is absolutely a ball.
Yes, he had a tendency to play fetch with skulls back in the day.
Incredible. Yeah, it's a ball of skulls that had some skin left on it and everything.
Yes, I say I do miss the days when he was a happier creature.
I would like to say I'm sure he misses them too, but he might not remember.
Mm.
What was the
I
other
think
question?
that is why he is so angry, is because he
Yeah.
does.
That makes sense. Well, I wonder if our situation could be solved by helping that in some way. Oh, I remember. You knew something about our mythic powers. Do you know of any way we could advance them in a more deliberate way? We kind of happened upon them on accident, and frankly,
With
haven't had the
nothing.
chance to delve into them.
Such
everything that's
things
happened.
are rare things, and I can tell you this from what I have witnessed. They are tied to fate in some way. To understand them is, well, trying to understand fate.
Mm.
You are tied in events to come, some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Where and how those powers grow, it is hard to say. But I imagine as you follow your destined path, you will potentially grow in strength.
That makes sense given their ties to fate. I suppose the sample size of people with them isn't exactly large.
No.
The last
time I saw such a being, they went on a bit of a killing spree in Ozarel. Didn't end well for them in the end, but it happened nonetheless.
Wait, they did that in Ozarel?
Yes, some giant woman or something. I wasn't there, but I heard about it.
Oh, I think I've read about that, but I'm blanking on the specific names and such. Oh, there was one more thing. I suppose this doesn't really come as a surprise for someone who's been around as long as you have. Goroth mentioned you had gone by a different name the last time you had met. Is there something else I should call you, or?
Caecilian will do fine.
He didn't. He indicated that. Well, at least my takeaway from it was that you wouldn't have wanted your older name to be given away. So I doubt, if that's the case, I doubt you would just tell people.
There is power in a name, child. Why do you think there are so many forgotten things? Especially surrounding this little fate that's hurling you towards Hetya himself.
Yeah. That does seem to be Hetyr's way of removing power from things he feels threatened by.
Very, very curious that. Until next time, child. And his voice just kind of fades away, and the light levels in the room go back to normal.
Always interesting conversations.
Indeed. Is it always like this?
The last time it was very similar. I contacted him basically the same way. The only other time before that was sort of in a dream. It was right before Adax was attacked. He talked about a thinning of the veil. I found myself, I'm not sure if I was only dreaming. I think my consciousness had found its way to his plane for a time. I saw Adax in a grayed out, ruined state, and came upon Caecilian, and we spoke for a time.
Well, that certainly seems salient looking back at what happened.
Yeah. He said that the coming events were what caused that thinning, or at least were related to it.
Yeah.
And allowed us to contact each other in that way. Or him to contact me, I suppose. I think he's the one who prompted it. But yeah, it's I don't know if I mean, like any ancient powerful entity, I kind of take words and intent with a grain of salt, but given his experience, I do respect his knowledge and advice.
Yes. So many questions and so many things we don't really know how to take.
Yeah.
We just don't have contexts for things.
Yeah, it feels like we're kind of in over our head, doesn't it?
Very much so. Shall we go back and try and find the other stuff?
All right. Let's go see how they're doing.
So, Ollie.
Oh.
What did Ursta want to do?
Well, were there clerics that were following Tilk? Or is basically most of the clergy, or all the clergy, following the High Priestess?
That's a challenging question. Some of the clerics do attend Tilk services. That said, even the ones that attend his services do attend the High Priestess's services.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the clerics do still to be respecting the High Priestess's position and still cleaving to her whims. So, are there some that are still partial to Tilk? Yes. Are there any who are defying the High Priestess? No.
Okay. Mainly, I'm curious about the scriptures of Neheto and what it talks about the creation of the world. So, any members of the clergy that have
I mean,
guess either
certainly you could.
knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly could find somebody. Are you want to specifically find just somebody of the clergy, or do you want to find a cleric or the high priestess herself? Because there's the mundane members of the clergy as well as the actual clerics.
Let's go with clerics for. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go with clerics.
So you could find. I'm assuming you're going to prefer to grab somebody who's attended Tilk services, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. There is. Let me just like whip up a name because you'd probably have a name. For those that did appear to their services.
Faulkner Van Dyke.
Let's see here. Fucking no. Let's see. Moses. No, we're not going to do that. Palmer. There is a maybe like late 20s cleric by the name of Palmer. Who you have seen attending Tilk services. He seems to be just cleaning some gear, clothes, and stuff when you approach. Looks to maybe be getting ready for bed when you approach because it is nighttime at this point. But he perks up when he sees you approaching. Is there something I can do for you?
Yes. I have some curiosities regarding Naheto and the origin stories.
Oh, certainly. I can do my best to clear up any questions you might have, Spymaster.
More of. I did not really attend very well to the youth sermons, so I'm more coming for a refresher course to see with some recent developments and conversations, hopefully clarify.
Certainly. What would you like to know?
How I guess actually, yeah, no, that's the better place to start. How did Naheto come to create our world, I guess it is?
Well, that is. So it is said in the holy texts that in Hezarona, once called the Golden Gardens, before mortal man existed, there was Hedgier, and he walked a barren land before it was the Golden Gardens. And he came upon a lush garden in the middle of this barren wasteland, and there he found Nalzandris tending to it. And together they grew this garden, and when it was large enough, well, it is said they created mortal kind. And other gods came, and the garden continued to grow. What exactly the act of creation entailed is, well, some debate it, others just don't question it. They accept that the creation happened and that was that. But there are some scholars who
try to seek answers to that.
Hmm. What of the scholars' debates? What do the scholars debate that had occurred during the creation of the Golden Garden and
Well,
establishment of yeah.
there are those who believe that it was a sort of divine ritual magic that involved various parts of things that were already there within the realm. So there was the garden itself. There were also the beasts of the garden, which is where the story of the first beast originates.
Hmm.
So it was believed by some scholars that the first mortals were amalgamations of beasts and plant and clay and such, given the breath of life by divine will, and as such a divine soul. However, one of the dissenting opinions, and he kind of looks over his shoulder, makes sure like there's not anybody actively listening in. It is deemed a little heretical, to be honest. There are some circles that feel very strongly about it, and considering the current situation, I wouldn't get talking about it too much. There are some scholars that seem to believe that mortal man was, well, made in the traditional way people are made,
Hmm.
which, from our understanding, gods who procreate create gods. So that doesn't make much sense. However, these scholars imply that, well, like animals in the wild, change happens over time. And then, once looking upon such peoples as the Asimar, the Tieflings, the Dracon, the Wood Elves, it is the scholars call into question perhaps all things come from divine blood. As I said, many consider this deeply heretical. I would not go spreading this kind of thing around, sir. But it was a conversation that has been had, and most such people are censured.
Understandably so.
There is also a belief that and this one is not necessarily censured, but it is mostly ignored as ridiculous. But there is also a tale of implications that Headyear did not make mankind. Mortals simply existed as part of this wasteland, struggling to survive, but existing. And it was by Headyear and Nalazandris' guidance that they were able to thrive.
Uh-huh. Here.
There are other crazier tales and suggestions, but those are scattered and even less regarded as having any truth to them.
I see. I see. Mm, What stories are what stories are there in the Church of Nahato? What do they talk about of the first beast?
Well, the first beast, there's not much to talk about. There is the first story where he was a morphic entity, a shape changer that existed within Alexandrus's garden. And he helped the plants in the way animals would. And he wasn't really treated as a pet, but a companion to Alexandrus. And when Hetier came, they too were familiar, but in time, the first beast grew jealous. The animals of the realm were shaped after him, but he wanted more. He was a creature that, when given a taste of greater influence, became greedy. And we often draw a parallel to similar to dogs. When given food, they often, they greedily consume as much as possible. And so when effectively Neheto would not feed him in this way, he became angry and vicious. And this is where we get the phrase, to not bite the hand that feeds you, is this story. And so he was cast out. What exactly that means before the shattering, we are not sure. But perhaps that casting out happened alongside the shattering. And some scholars believe that he was cast out into Nominar. Nobody has been able to prove it, but it would, at least in our understanding, make the most sense. If there would be a place to find him, if he could be found, it would be there. But beyond that, we do not have much in the way of stories for the first beast. More a cautionary tale of greed than anything else.
Intriguing. Well, I believe that'll be all for tonight. You have given me some things to. You have helped clarify a couple things, as well as given me a few other contexts to better understand what I had heard earlier.
Sure, sir. If there are any other questions or clarifications, or you just want to discuss, by all means, let me know. I'm generally available if I'm not busy. I am one who enjoys discussing the minutiae of the faith.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
Of course. So you all start getting prepared as it is starting to get late. And you do have the celebrations the next day. And I think we're going to have to call it there. I thought we were going to get to Hearthfest this session, but apparently not. It's the next session.
Apologies.
No, you're fine. It's actually, I don't know if it's necessarily for the best, but yeah, we'll see.
What are you planning?
but it was a very, very interesting session, regardless. So many secrets unveiled.
Deep lore.
Maybe.
The
Or
lore.
maybe they're red herrings. Who could say?
Maybe.
But yeah, any closing thoughts?
Our situation is so fucked.
That's the primary thought. That's my thought every time we go into this, and it's just like, oh yeah, we're just kind of in a fucked situation. And every time we leave, it's just like, man, we're still in a fucked situation.
Yeah.
Well,
Here it's reminding me a little bit of like Odin and Zeus, and like similar, like leader deities of pantheons from mythology that try very hard to hang on to their position.
Yeah.
damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, no,
It
that's
kind
that
of
would be
checks out. For
Did he did he sacrifice his eye?
Yeah. I feel like
There's no stories about it.
magic too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a god of magic.
yeah. That's something I'm concerned about. Like if something comes to a confrontation with Heir, I'm a wizard.
Yeah. And I am a witch.
You know, things to think about.
Yeah. I guess it helps that a lot of the power I'm drawing on is coming from a particular plane. Maybe that'll be an advantage. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. But yeah. So I guess we'll catch you all on the next one, and we'll see how Hearthfest goes.
We shall
Oh,
catch y'all later.
Hopefully better than last year's Hearthfest.
I mean, let's not trip on that bar.
Yeah. Yeah.